Hey, everybody. Welcome here to Pop Culture Philosophers, and it's time for another PCP Army movie poll winner movie review, Michael Keaton edition. So in the PCP Army, which of course is the official Pop Culture Philosophers Facebook group, we do movie polls, and we have been reviewing and rewatching the winners. Tonight we're doing Johnny Dangerously because it won the Michael Keaton poll, beating out Multiplicity and Mr. Mom, which were second place, right? And then there was what was like the one in the middle?
I can't remember the
list.
Man.
Gung Ho, and then dead last was the Dream Team. Mike the Voice Matthews with the sole vote for the Dream Team. So tonight we're going to be talking about Johnny Dangerously. I am, of course, Rockin' Robbie Billups. Next to me is Jelani. What's up?
What's up?
Down there we got Brooks. And ladies and gentlemen, first time on the channel for a long time. I think he's quarantine crazy. It's Hammertime Holshoe.
He looks like he's in the white room of the Matrix.
Good to be here.
Hell yeah, buddy. All right, so tonight we're going to watch, we already watched Johnny Dangerously. We're going to talk about it. Man, I remember this movie from when I was a kid, and I remember really liking it. I remember that it was really quirky and silly and whatnot, right? Holy cow, this movie was so freaking funny. This movie cracks me up. It lets you know from the very beginning the style of movie it's going to be. It doesn't have very good reviews overall. It's kind of mixed. Some people are like, it's too dumb. And I'm like, actually, I think it's pretty good for its time, you know? It feels like a Mel Brooks film at some times, you know? It's a parody and a send up to the gangster films from the 30s. Michael Keaton's doing his best James Cagney impression. I love his eyeliner. It makes those, he's the sexiest man in the movie because of those eyebrows. I love all the characters, the Maroni, the Italian monster. You know, this is Fargan ice hole. Love all that.
It's gonna be Fargan War.
I love that. Peter Boyle's great. It's got a great cast. It feels, it's got the vibrancy and freshness and fun and wit of something like from Mel Brooks, but about gangster films. And I absolutely love it. I think Michael Keaton just nails it. Came out in 1984. It was directed by Amy Heckerling. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Amy Heckerling. She did Fast Times at Richmond High. She did Clueless. She did Loser, that fantastic movie with Jason Biggs.
They kept trying to make Jason Biggs a thing. He is not a thing.
Speaking of Loser, what do you think about this movie on the rewatch, Jelani?
I remember watching this movie, and I'm a winner. That's right. The movie itself, like, I remember watching it when I was a kid, like 7 years old. And I died laughing. And this time, I guess I was in the right mood to see it because I thought it was silly. I thought it was a little sillier than I expected it to be. I like the cast. The cast is amazing. I love, of course, Michael Keaton. I love Mary Lou Henner in this role. I don't know if she sang those songs, but I know she's a singer. But I think she sang some of the songs. But Peter Boyle stole the show with the bathroom thing. I think I died laughing doing that. And that Maroni guy, I don't know who he is, but sign me up for that. And I remember Joe Piscopo being in this film, and it didn't do so well because like this was on the same time like Beverly Hills Cop was around, and like what's his name, Eddie Murphy and he were best friends in this era.
Yeah,
this is when they were in Saturday Night Live and stuff, and I thought he was all right. I didn't think he could have been as funny as he was, but yeah, the slapstick is pretty good. And
Piscopo had the unfortunate responsibility of being like the only, even though they're all like murderers and these gangsters, right? Like Piscopo's the only one who's really sleazy that you as the audience are really not supposed to like. So he didn't get too many good gags because of that, I think. But I love that mustache, right?
It did have a pencil thin mustache, yeah.
The guy that played Maroni,
the one who was like my mother grabbed me once.
Yeah. Richard Dimitri is the guy who played Maroni, and just probably the standout comedic performance for me.
He couldn't curse to save his life.
I mean, he was making fun of how they would exaggerate that Italian accent in those old gangster movies. Like everything about this movie is a total send up to those films.
It is. It's a great parody film. It does a great job of getting the essence of all of those films. And so, you know, on a rewatch from like many years later, I'd still I can watch it again. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, it was really funny. I remember liking it as a kid, and I can definitely tell in the rewatch why I liked it so much when I was a kid. But I think overall it's pretty cool. At least some dates, some outdated jokes probably, but I think it really hits hard. Speaking of hitting hard, how about Hammertime Holshoe? Why don't you tell us what you thought about this movie on the rewatch, John?
It was funny. I mean, it's definitely like like you said, Mel Brooks or maybe I don't know, National Lampoon or something. Maybe not. Maybe what was it? Naked Gun. You know what I'm saying? It's that it's that or Airplane. I mean, it's that sort of like slapstick comedy. It's not smart comedy. Michael Keaton's definitely in films that are a lot more smart comedy. You know what I'm saying? Maybe more tongue in cheek or just smarter films. This is more slapstick, but it's good on the rewatch. It's hilarious. I always thought as a kid, I always loved the parts where he's got the price gun and he's marking the puppies and the cats.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was the funniest thing. And I love it, man. I mean, I'm a big Keaton fan. Is it his best film? No. But that's probably his most like straight up slapstick of all his films. You know what I'm saying? He's in some funny films. I think it holds up well. I think that it's got a great cast. I mean, Peter Boyle, Dan DeVito, Mary Lou Henner, obviously Sir Michael Keaton.
Friend of the show.
There's a lot of people. There's a lot of great people in it. What I didn't realize is you're right. That directed, because Cram and Crowe wrote it. Fast Times at Ridgemont High. But she also directed the Fast Times at Ridgemont High show that crashed.
Yeah.
Did you know there was a show?
I found that out today when I looked up her IMDb page.
Yeah, and she also did the Clueless movie, but she also did the Clueless show.
I do remember
She's been following these projects, but she also wrote both the Look Who's Talking movies.
Yes.
The first two, anyway.
Right.
So comedy is like her forte, but I don't know. I mean, I think it holds up well. I think it's funny. I think it's got a great cast, and I don't know. There's some scenes. I don't know. It's not bad. It's not his best film, but I think it holds up on the rewatch. I think it's really funny. And Michael Keaton looks so suave. He's a good-looking son of a bitch.
And he's got a nice charisma throughout the entire. Like you instantly love this guy.
You love him. Yeah, the whole time.
It's fantastic. And who would have thunk it that kid would have wound up 5 years later playing Batman, right?
Yeah, exactly. They should have had one of the other guys as one of the villains.
Outrage.
Yeah. Speaking of 5 years away from being Batman, Brooks, what do you think about this movie?
I liked it. I thought it was pretty funny, and I'd never seen it before. I remember hearing about it, but I'd never watched it before, so I wasn't sure what to expect. And when it was a lot goofier than I thought it was going to be, and I actually enjoyed it a lot. It was that kind of humor is kind of something that I enjoy really, but I think it was it's a little weaker than like say a Mel Brooks movie, but at the same time it's more safe, it's more kid friendly. I think. I like that, despite being kind of a gangster movie,
and it's kind of raunchy. I was really kind of shocked about, man, this is kind of raunchy. It's one of the first PG-13 films. Of course, Temple of Doom was the first one, right? This one was kind of right after that, 84. Man, that was that was a long time ago, man. We were like very young, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I was really surprised by some of that, but man, I think it's cool. It's not as sophisticated as Mel Brooks's best films, but it's better than Dracula Dead is Loving It. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
How'd you rate it against Robin Hood Men in Tights?
Yeah, I think it's better than Robin. See, I'm not a Men in Tights fan.
I like Robin Hood Men in Tights.
I know everybody does. I know everybody does.
Really?
I think his best one is Young Frankenstein, obviously, and then the producers. But Mel Brooks wasn't involved in this, but obviously an influence. Yeah, I like Blazing Saddles too. But I mean, Young Frankenstein. I love History of the World, Spaceballs, obviously. Silent Movie. I love Silent Movie. 12 Angry Men. That one's about. I love the producers. I think the producers are really good. But this is a great movie, and I definitely I love the cameos in it, the silly stuff like Dom DeLuise.
As the Pope.
As the Pope. He just randomly shows up.
My favorite Martian, Ray Walston, is in it.
Yeah.
The old guy, the news guy, kept getting hit in the face with the newspapers.
Now I'm deaf.
I'm like, now I'm deaf. Yeah. That was awesome.
I can see and I can hear, but who am I?
Who am I?
And he was Mr. Hand in Fast Times, right?
Yep.
So
he was.
Yeah, I love this film. So the basic gist of the film, obviously, and yeah, what's up, PCP Army? Let us know when you get in. Let's look at the chat real quick. We got Sam Fett in the house. What's up, my man? We got Samuel David. We got Lee D. Lee D who? We got Herminio. What's up, my friend? It was the last movie I saw at a drive-in. Drive-ins may be making a comeback maybe soon, right?
Yeah.
The market's there.
Yeah.
What's up, Lewis? Nice to see Hammertime on here. And welcome back, Jelani and Brooks. You always cool. And he gives you the shades.
True.
Then he loves this movie. TK's Batcave is in the house. What's up? Like the picture there. Ghostface reading comics. I like it. And he's reading like a House of X, Powers of 10. Hey, what's up, Kirby? Let us know what y'all think of Johnny Dangerously, one of Michael Keaton's most hilarious films. The story's basically he's raised up. He goes to, just like all of these, it's almost like a silly version of Goodfellas, you know? And it's not the only parody gangster film that came out during that time. There was Harlem Nights. There was like Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid. There was a bunch of different stuff, right? So it was kind of, and in fact, this was actually what caused Brian De Palma apparently watched a screening of this film and loved it so much it inspired him to do Wise Guys. And that's when he had Joe Piscopo in it, right?
Yeah.
The Joe Piscopo. I remember being a kid watching SNL and always loving just hearing his name. I don't know, it just cracked me up. So the story is he, is just trying to get some money for his mom. His mom is always needing some kind of operation. They just keep incrementally getting.
The asshole doctor is always like jacking the prices up on him.
And he sends his brother. Yeah, and he sends his brother to law school. And of course, his brother winds up working for the DA's office and winds up taking on crime. And then, the big reveal and blah, 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 blah. I love the character of the mother. When she first shows up, she's like, "Oh, if this keeps out, never make it to 30."
Maureen Stapleton. She was a lot of stuff back then.
Yeah, right. I like the whole setup though, story wise, because even though it is very fun, it lets you know from the get go first of all the song, the Weird Al song, which they took off for the home video release, but then put back for DVD. When it gives you like the 1935. Title, and then the car just comes and smashes it. You know what kind of movie you're in for. And I never thought it let up on that pace. It was always fun. It had a nice wit to it. And I absolutely loved it. I like the story with him and his brother and how they keep playing that back and forth. I love the presentation on the balls.
Yeah.
The testicle bit.
Man, the testicles.
Yeah, Jelani, tell us some of your favorite character moments and little bits in there.
Oh God, the testicles. That whole the fact that there was a whole cartoon that he had set up and ready to show his brother. He's like, if I don't get, I gotta get out of law school because I gotta get laid. It's like, you gotta get laid. I gotta show you this video. He shows him the film that's already set up of the walking testicle, and it explodes when you do too much to it. And then he's like, "Well, what do you think about that?" And he's like, "Well, I'm going back to law school." And I was like, "Oh yeah, it's stuff like that." I like the bathroom scene with Peter Boyle when he gets. He's like, "I never had a clog in the sink. There's never been a clog in the drain."
Yeah.
And then boom, and then he walks out holding this thing, and he thinks it's his dick.
I love his
things like that.
I love his bumper sticker where it's like, "I'd rather be stealing."
I'd rather be stealing. Yeah, just little stuff. There's so much like when they're escaping prison and Johnny's like tearing the paint off of the car.
Oh, it's wallpaper. They keep peeling it off,
like
peeling it off.
Ducks
like,
and kitties. Like, we got 3 people dressed as nuns in a vehicle that's covered in ducks and kitties.
Yeah. That was the captain from Gilligan's Island. I can't remember his name. Skipper.
Yeah. It was.
Yeah.
That was so funny.
Like,
that's a great moment in the film too. It's got a great pace to it. John, what do you think about the movie, its structure, its pace, and some of its character moments?
I think the pace is good. I think that it definitely sets it up. His brothers as being the DA, and then obviously, and he's the bad guy or whatever. I just like how it's set up, and then you got Piscopo is the bad guy. I just like the structure. I also love the fact that he's telling the story at the pet store, and then at the end, you find out he hasn't given up the crime. You know what I'm saying? The pet store is obviously a front. I love that whole concept. And he gets to the guy. He's like, "Hey kid, come back here." He gives him a dog or a cat or something.
I like when he's doing when the flashback. You know, the whole wavy thing happening. In flashback. He's like, "Oh, that just happens whenever I'm talking about old time."
Yeah. There's just subtle stuff like that. I especially love one of my favorite scenes is when he's at the prison and those guys are giving those gun pieces to him and he's building that machine gun. Yeah. But of course he doesn't know how to put it together and he just throws it at the guy. I love that scene. And it's I don't know. Everything, man. Just it all flows together. It's being a good slapstick comedy. You know, Keaton does a good job as the suave guy. You're right, he's a bad guy, but you can't help but love him. And he did it for his mother.
Yeah. Just wanted to make sure that she got to 30. And God, I love that character. You know, and one of my favorite moments, you mentioned the prison stuff, when he's in prison and he's eating sushi, like in the mess hall. It just cracks me up so much. And he's got his like little suit that he's wearing.
He always comes out on top, even though he's in prison. He's still like living the high life.
Yeah, and
his stripes are different too. You notice his suit's completely different in prison.
Yeah.
I think that even though it's a goofy, funny comedy, it actually is saying some things about some things and not just being a parody. You know, it's talking a little bit about how the rich, you know, kind of like prison's a lot of a different experience for them and things like that. And it's also just a trope that you see in these gangster films. Michael Keaton, obviously just fantastic in this movie, just carries it, but everybody else around him. I mean, it's just with a cast like that, how could this movie not just be balls to the wall fun? In fact, Fargan balls to the wall. We got Robbie Bateman in the house.
Fargan balls.
Hell yeah. Oh, John's going to appreciate this. I think Michael Keaton is one of the most underrated actors. He can pull off any genre. He'll always be my favorite Batman, and besides Loki, my favorite Marvel villain.
Wow. Yeah. High praise.
It's true.
It is.
88 Magnum shoots through. Yeah, you couldn't make that joke today.
Through schools, you couldn't.
Yeah.
He shoots through schools.
You couldn't.
No, you couldn't. But speaking of, you couldn't do that in school anymore. Brooks. I don't know. Anyway, Brooks, what do you think about this movie? Elaborate a little bit more on some of your favorite parts and just what you think about the pace structure.
I like the villain story, you know, his rival, like how it starts out like he picks a fight with him on the street and then he gets beat up. That's when Peter Boyle sees him and kind of gets him started in the crime. Then later on he shows up as like kind of one of his henchmen. And like throughout the movie, he's kind of like, oh, he's going soft. He's trying to, you know, turn everybody against him. But Johnny's trying to go legit, but you know, he kind of has to appease his crime buddies at the same time. And this guy's just waiting for him to slip up. And then of course, eventually he does.
The Brooks just max headroom us.
I like his running joke of the one time thing that he does. He does it like 4 times, I think, in the movie.
Once. Yeah.
Once.
My grandmother shot me once. He never finished that one.
Yeah, the last one, like he gets like interrupted or arrested. He gets arrested.
Yeah.
In the middle of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, really fun film, and it just keeps that vibrancy bouncing all the way through it. It's nonstop. It's a very quickly, nicely tightly packed movie. It's like an hour and a half and it just breezes right on by. It's almost like a nonstop laugh fest. And I mean, it's not something I would watch every year, but I definitely enjoyed revisiting it. And I'm glad that it won because I voted for Mr. Mom. But I think that this was a really fun film to experience, especially during these times where you're just sometimes wanting just to have a good laugh, you know?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I love that. Michael Keaton just fantastic in this movie. He's surrounded by so many great people. I absolutely love the character of the mother. That role is so earnestly given. And it's so funny when she's pulling the stuff out of her pockets, there's a vibrator in there. There's like, it's just such a fun. He's like, oh, he just wants to get laid. You know, like, and it's so out there and it was just so against type that it's really, really funny.
Like, I like the joke, like, considering what your father was like, it's amazing that neither of you turned into a scumbag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know that she never had a problem once she found out that Johnny was a criminal. She didn't care.
Yeah.
And she got mad at the other son for trying to arrest him.
Yeah, right.
Yep. That's true.
I love the little convenient plot devices like the cigarette case with the clove gum in it. That's Johnny's cigarette case.
Yep.
I love all it. So Michael Keaton
saved so many lives.
Yeah, Michael Keaton was just. I mean, I know that at the time he was cast as Batman, he was controversial because they were like, well, he's just been in a bunch of comedies, right?
Yeah.
Now, of course, nowadays we know that Michael Keaton's got a very vast range in acting ability. And that's something that you find usually in comedic actors. I mean, look at people like Tom Hanks and Jim Carrey. They've been able to make that jump, and others have as well. Robin Williams, for instance, right? So I think Michael Keaton, because he was like, Michael Keaton never did like stand-up or nothing, right? He was just cast in these funny movies, right?
Just an actor.
John, John, I know you're our official PCP Keaton historian. So could you tell me a little bit, like how close is this to like the beginning of his career, and do you know how he got his start?
He got his start as on Mr. Rogers.
Oh, really?
Oh, that's
he was actually like one of the guys, like a stagehand. And when they did a Mr. Rogers tribute a couple of years ago, he hosted it. So he got a start on Mr. Rogers, and then from there he segued into other acting. So Night Shift. What was that show he was on? He was on a show for a bit before that. I'm forgetting for some reason. Working Stiffs, that show.
I never saw that.
So
I never heard of Working Stiffs.
Okay, yeah, he was on a show for a short period before Night Shift, and then becoming a movie actor and sort of like stepping out of TV for film. And I do remember the hate though for Keaton for him being Batman because, and that's why I was like really upset about who they cast for the new Batman. And I'm like, look, man, other people hate on Keaton. I'm going to take a wait and see approach, because the people that did wait and see, or the people that thought poorly and then saw the Batman film, enjoyed it. So he proved that he's got quite the range.
That's true.
Yeah, he really does.
He's made of awesome and kick. Actually, I think he's amazing in Birdman. I think he was
on the Mary Tyler Moore show as well.
Really?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Very getting worse.
So then after this, that's when you hit the gung ho Mr. Mom type stuff, and then Beetlejuice, and then Batman, pretty much, right? And then just kind of
So he did some small appearances. He did the Mary Tyler Moore show. We had a recurring role. He did Working Stiffs. And then he got a more serious, not more serious, but a more a main role in Reporting to Murphy, which is a TV show. And then he went to movies. And then, so he was on some TV stuff before that. But his main start, though, was Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
Oh, that's super cool. I did not know that, nor I guess, or maybe not remember it. Was he on the show, like one of the people?
Yeah, he was on as a volunteer. And then he was a panda.
Oh, nice. Who doesn't want to be a panda? Right?
Who doesn't want to be a panda? So that's really got to start. Yeah. And that, I think, made his segue. I mean, I think they gave an introduction to executives and writers and stuff like that. Got to start in the show business. So, yeah, Mr. Rogers. He said he talks about how he basically owes Mr. Rogers everything, and that's how he got his foot in the door.
There's a Mr. Rogers reference in the film when he's talking about all the things that would be possible if he goes legit. He says something like, "in saying hello to your neighbors, like Fred," or something like that. So that's pretty cool.
I just need a couple bullets. You got a couple bullets I can borrow?
Yeah, I love that, because it's like all the gangsters live in this one like apartment building or whatever, all penthouse building or whatever. Oh God.
Yeah, it's Capone's wife. I just need a couple bullets. Get out of here.
Well, we're running low ourselves, Oh man, movie's great. Brooks, what do you think about Michael Keaton, his performance in this movie?
Well, he's good. I wouldn't consider myself a huge fan of Keaton, but I can't recall a movie I've seen him in. I thought he was bad.
Get this window out of here. How do I move Brooks' window away?
It. Oh my God.
There we go.
Done.
Sorry, Brooks. I'll never display our power like that again. I'm sorry.
Brooks, do you agree though that he's the best
jerk
Beetlejuice?
Off Michael Keaton some more, man. Jeez, I'm trying to be real here.
I think he's the best Beetlejuice. He's better than that guy from the animated series.
Yeah. There we go.
This movie really does he turns on the charm in this movie. I think he has good charisma in this movie. Like, and for the character he's playing, that's kind of vital because he's supposed to be the guy that everybody loves, despite the fact that he's a criminal,
a murderer.
Yep.
Not really though, right? Because he didn't murder the one guy. He got framed by Joe Piscopo.
Right, he bombed the club.
Yeah, and then everything turns out okay. But I love that moment when he's going to death row and he's like walking towards the chair and his buddy's helping him escape and he's the priest and he's just saying a bunch of nonsense.
Yeah. Yeah. I forgot what he was saying, but yeah, that was great.
Hey, we got Perry Comics in the house. What's up, Perry? Talking about Johnny Dangerously. Great Michael Keaton movie. It's just super, super funny. What are some of your other favorite characters from the film, Jelani?
Oh, gosh. Dan DeVito as the crime commissioner.
Here's what you can get if you play ball.
Yeah. I mean, he looks so different. I mean, like, young and thinner than he normally was. But yeah, I loved him in it. I'm still talking about Maroney, man. Maroney was great. Maroney's just he's a standout of that film. I don't know. I mean, other than that, like I said before, I like Mary Lou Henner.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I think she sang those songs. The main song she sang, the Live Dangerously song.
Yeah.
I think they just ADR'd her voice and like made her lip sync her own voice. But she's always had a great voice. So I really liked her in this film too. Like I like how she and Michael Keaton were walking on their, like, it turned into a date, but then they walked too far.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where are we at?
Where are we at?
How you get here?
I love all those silly little gags, man. They're so fun. There's so many of them. They just keep
I always wanted to live in Chicago. This is New York.
This is New York. Oh.
Another thing that really, I don't know why it cracks me up so much, but like the way the kid moves, like in the very beginning when it's Johnny Dangerously as a kid, and he's like doing all these flips and all this kind of stuff. You're like, wow, this spunky kid, he's like,
he's a go-getter.
Yeah, right. I just love it. It's a great film. It's like a Mel Brooks version of Goodfellas, almost in a way.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun with it. John, what are some of your other like side characters? What's something? Because for me, it's Maroney. Like Maroney is so funny to me, and I know that you also love Boyle a lot, Jelani.
Yeah.
So who else you want to spotlight? Hammertime.
I don't know. Besides Peter Boyle, which is great as a boss, we talked about Danny DeVito, is the commissioner. You've talked about what was the bad guy's name? The Fargan guy. What's his name?
Oh, Maroney.
Richard Dimitri, right? The actor's name.
Yeah, Robert Dimitri.
Yeah, Maroney. He's hilarious. Other than that, I mean, I think we've talked about a lot of great people, but I think we're forgetting about Tommy Kelly, which is Griffin Dunne. I think he's really funny as the brother, and he does a really good job as the brother. And he's such like a sweet, innocent guy, but he's really good as the brother. I think we're kind of forgetting him because we're talking about these other great actors.
Yeah, and you got to have a
great cast, man.
You got to have a great straight man in a comedy, right? And that's what he is. He keeps that character. He's like noble, he's the good son, and yeah, he delivers a great performance as well. Absolutely. Brooks, what are some of your favorite characters?
I think my favorite was the main villain,
Joe Piscopo.
Yeah.
Like, Vermin. Was it Danny Vermin or something?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Vermin is his last name. Yeah. Which is a great last name.
I kind of figured I was going to grow up to be a scumbag.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he was probably my favorite character in the movie, actually.
Oh wow.
Because he's just so ridiculously like asshole-ish.
And sleazy. Ice-hole-ish. And super sleazy. All right, now we're about to get to the ratings. We do 5 ya digs here. 5 ya digs is a perfect score. So out of 5 possible ya digs, Jelani, what do you give Johnny Dangerously?
I think I'll give this 3.5 ya digs.
3.5 ya digs.
I liked it. I'll watch it again, but it was okay to me as well. On the rewatch, it's funny. It's a silly film, and I should probably watch this like with a group of people drunk again one day, it would probably sell me a lot more to it.
We could totally design a drinking game for this. That would be really
you
fun.
could. Yeah, that would be awesome. But yeah, I'd give it 3.5. It's solid for me.
That's a very solid rating. Absolutely. Hammertime, what about you, buddy? Out of 5 possible you digs, what do you give Johnny Dangerously?
6. No, I'm kidding. I want to give it a 5 because it's a Keaton film, but it's not his best film. But it is pretty damn funny. I would say if it was any other actor, I would say a 3 out of 5. But since it's Keaton, 4 out of 5.
Okay, 4 out of 5.
A little extra. Yeah, it's a good movie. It's a very funny movie. Again, it's not Beetlejuice. It's not Batman. It's not Birdman. I mean, he's got films that I'd put up on the top of against any other film. You know what I'm saying?
Jack Frost.
Yep. Jack Frost is the best.
You know, and he's also really good in Out of Sight and Jackie Brown, in which he plays the same character.
Yep.
Yeah, small part, but there are no small parts. Is that what they say?
Who's they?
Only
small people.
Yeah, that.
4. That's really good.
I give it 4, man. Keaton does a good job. He looks so great with that suit and everything. He's a good looking guy.
And the eyeliner.
Yeah, that eyeliner. Very prominent.
Very prominent. Looks good. He's got those eyes. It really works. Yeah, it really works. You want to get crazy? Let's get crazy. What about you, Brooks? Out of 5 possible you digs, what do you give Johnny Dangerously?
I give it 3.5.
3.5.
Yeah, it's a good, fun comedy. I can imagine watching it again. So,
nice. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm gonna agree with John and say 4. I really think it's solid. I think it's pretty funny. I think it holds up. It just doesn't stop. It's got a great pace to it. I think it's silly, goofy, slapsticky, but also kind of clever and witty. And it's very Looney Tunes-esque. It's very cartoonish. You know what I'm saying? There's like an element of Gremlins 2 to me that's in Johnny Dangerously, if that makes any kind of sense. Almost like Joe Dante could have done this film. But I think Heckerling's a great director, and I think she's done more nuanced stuff, right? She's done more clever stuff. I think Clueless is probably a better film, for instance, and I definitely think maybe Fast Times. But Johnny Dangerously is a great film, and it's just parody films are something I really love, and I'm a big Mel Brooks fan. I mean, we all are here, right?
Yeah.
And so I love parody films, stuff like Naked Gun and Airplane. And this is it's right up there with them. And I think it and Harlem Nights are probably the best like parody gangster films out there. So that's 3.5 for Jelani, 4.0 for Holshoe, 3.5 for Brooks, and 4.0 for me, for an official PCP score of 3.75, which is very respectable. What do you guys out there in the chat give out of 5 possible you digs Johnny Dangerously? Herminio says 3.5. He agrees with Brooks and Jelani. But me and John standing strong at 4. 4 digs. 4 you digs. So anyway, thank you guys so much for joining us here for the Johnny Dangerously movie review. That's the end of the movie review. And now we're just going to bullshit for a while. That's what we do.
Sweet, sweet bullshit. So
if you're watching on the rewatch and all you care about is the Johnny Dangerously part, it's over. It's over. Now, John, now that I got you here, I'm going to put you on the spot, and I want to know, I know that Johnny Dangerously is not your favorite Michael Keaton film. So what is? I want to know. And then I want to know why it's Batman Returns.
Man, my favorite Keaton film. Whew. That's a hard one because there's a lot of films I really like. Like I think some of his films are underrated. Like I think My Life is a pretty great film, and it's pretty depressing though. Birdman is fantastic. I mean, it's an Academy Award winning film.
He should have won an Oscar for that one.
Birdman is great.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Birdman.
Yeah,
it's awesome, dude.
Oh, man.
You gotta watch that. Man, you gotta watch Birdman. It's so layered. It's so gorgeous. You don't know at the end what happens. And I love that film. It's
based off the Hanna-Barbera character, right?
No, not at all.
No.
This is a whole entirely different
thing. I don't want to watch it.
Oh no, come on.
You gotta watch it, man. You gotta watch it.
Robbie Bateman says 4 out of 5 you digs for him. This was one of those movies as a kid growing up in the 80s where when it came on HBO or Showtime, you always sat and watched it.
That is true.
I think that's when I was watching it too.
Yeah, that was true.
Hammertime's really struggling with this. I'm kind of
I
surprised.
don't know. It might be Birdman. It might be Batman Returns. You know, it might be Beetlejuice. There's not a bad Keaton film in my opinion. I'm not a huge fan of Jack Frost or Desperate Measures. But you look at Gung Ho or Mr. Mom or Multiplicity, I probably watched 1,000 times, and it doesn't get old. You can't make a copy of a copy. It never comes out as good as the original.
Yeah.
I think One Good Cop is great. I think his Pacific Heights is great because that's the first time I saw him as like a bad guy. You know what I'm saying? He's intimidating in that until you get to Spider-Man, and I agree with him being he's my favorite Marvel villain, hands down. I think he does such a good job as
it's a good twist.
Vulture.
It's a good twist. Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, he's done a lot of good stuff, man. I don't know. It's hard for me to pick my favorite. Yeah. He's my favorite Batman though, and I'm a big Batman fan because of I read Batman comics before him, but he cemented my love of Batman. I think.
Me too. I agree.
Here's something that is.
But My Life might be my favorite, but I need to watch it more recent because I might not have the same.
Yeah, I got you. It's weirdly weird to me thinking about those movies like Mr. Mom and Gung Ho and Beetlejuice and this one and going, because like when you hear Tim Burton of the time talking about why he cast Michael Keaton, he goes, of course Michael Keaton's Batman. Look at those eyes. And I'm like, I get the eyes, but
yeah,
was that really it? Like, what do you think they saw, Jelani, and Keaton that made Burton and Warner Brothers want to sign him up for like they're one of the biggest movies of that entire studio's history?
I think it's his charisma. Like he does pull off a lot of things when he comes into a room. He is well liked, and he just has that it factor about him. And I get the controversy. They're just like, he doesn't look the part. He doesn't do this. You know, you think of a more manlier man to take over the Batman role. But I think that Michael Keaton's charisma alone got him that job, got him in there. And, you know, those sweet eyebrows. But I believe he embodied like what Bruce Wayne could have is in that film. A lot of people don't like Michael Keaton as Batman right now. They're like, it's one of their least favorite, but he pulls it off and he does it really well. I love every minute he's in that film, especially Batman 89. Returns is all right for me, but I love 89 Batman. That's been it. You want to get nuts? Come on, let's get nuts. You know, so
a little bit of Beetlejuice comes out in that scene.
Yeah, it does. So yeah, I get it. I totally get why Tim Burton got him.
Sam Fett says 3.5 you digs. His best movie is the best Batman movie, Batman Returns.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the best Batman movie, but it's the best Batman movie of the 90s.
It's okay.
Well, unless we really want to count Mask of the Phantasm, but then it's kind of a close race.
Yeah. Mask of the Phantasm is pretty
I
sweet.
think
Mask of the Phantasm beats out Batman Returns by a little bit.
Yeah, it does. It does.
If you notice,
Tim Burton, live action. That would have been awesome too.
Tim Burton likes to work with actors he's worked with before. You know what I'm saying? He works with a lot of the same actors. So I think him being Beetlejuice, I think that had a lot to do with him being cast by Tim Burton. Had he not been Beetlejuice, I know they're completely different characters, but I think he liked working with Keaton. He felt comfortable with Keaton. So again, look at Tim Burton, man. He cast there's 6 people he cast continuously, and that's those 6 people.
Yeah.
And 3 of those people is just Johnny Depp.
Yeah, right. And
yep. That's true.
And of course, he was in another Tim Burton film. Keaton was with Danny DeVito, and that was Dumbo.
Yeah, that's right.
I'll tell you what, man, not very good movie, but both of those guys were really good in it.
Yeah, they were.
So I'll tell you that.
Did not see Dumbo.
I know. I remember you weren't there, Jelani. It was just me and Brooke sitting there on a Monday night watching Dumbo together. We're probably the only people in the theater.
Missed all that fun.
You know, some people are telling me that they're like, hey, are you going to be wary about going to movie theaters? You know, when movies come back in like what, July, June, at the end of June is probably when the next releases really start hitting, the big ones like Mulan and whatnot. And I was like, not really, because the theater we go to, like nobody goes to it
anyway. Hopefully they're not closed.
I'm wondering if they're going to even reopen.
I really, because this could be devastating. And then here's something silly for an already struggling, and everybody here except for Brooks, we all actually, me, Jelani, and John, all at one point worked at the same movie theater together, and it's the movie theater that usually we go to watch these films.
Yeah,
and it's no longer the It Factor theater in town, but it was then. Yeah. It was then, like 20 years ago.
It wasn't like
we watched episode 1 there. Yeah. Episode 1 was huge there.
So I hope that it can make it through. I'm surprised that theater hasn't gone dollar theater yet, because that's always the last straw, you know. And it usually will survive as a dollar theater for a while.
Kind of its theater in the city. So,
but an already struggling market and industry, right? The theaters have not been raking in the cash like they used to. And now you have what's going on now, which is causing some movies to be released early, video on demand, like that Trolls movie. Yep. So AMC and Cineworld that owns Regal,
right?
Cineworld, right?
Cineworld.
They're boycotting Universal now because of it, and I'm like,
why are you doing that? You're taking more money away from yourselves.
That's Fast and Furious. You know what I'm saying? That's like, that seems crazy. I want to know what John thinks about that.
I don't know. I understand from the theater's perspective, but at the same time, I want to side with the theaters. Like, I understand what Regal's doing. I understand what AMC is doing. I understand that they feel like they've been burned. So I want to side with them. But then I started thinking about it a little bit more. And what was Universal supposed to do at this moment?
Right.
I mean, this is a movie they spent a bunch of money on, and they wanted to get a release somehow. They needed extra income, and nobody's going to the movies because they can't. So I feel like they were cornered. I understand why the theaters are mad, but at the same time, I feel this is I don't know. I think they're going about it the wrong way, because Universal does have a lot of big properties still. I mean, they're Universal Pictures, and I don't know if you want to burn that bridge. Yeah, I don't know.
It's pretty bad.
I don't know. I'm conflicted because I still do like the theater, and we go to that one that's pretty much abandoned. And I'm hoping it's still there, but I do like the fact that it's pretty much abandoned, because you'd be left alone. You always get a good seat. No one bothers you. And of all those theaters they have there, because it's an 18-plex Cineplex, 2 of them are really, really nice. Like 2 are like super nice. And it's nice being there and having basically it to yourself. And I still like going to the theater. I look forward to going back to the theater.
Yeah,
but I understand from the theaters what they're saying, and I want to side with the theaters. But I think Universal was put in a tough place, and they had to do something.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, you would like to side with the theaters, but it just comes across as petty to me, you know?
It is very petty, especially in these times. I mean, how are you supposed to watch a film? You can't go to the theater to watch it. Why not? Why not have it on VOD? I mean, people are going to watch it. I didn't even know that movie came out until this controversy happened.
Do you think that other studios should have done this, Jelani? Do you think they should have done this like Marvel should have done this with Black Widow? Because, you know, for instance, who would have thought a few months ago that tonight we'd be talking about Johnny Dangerously and not Black Widow? Because this is the weekend of Black Widow. Yeah.
Sadness. And you think, I mean, it would be great if I could watch Black Widow right now. I think on video demand, it would be a fantastic way for us to just watch films again. I mean, you're still paying for it. You're paying the money to go see it. Of course, you know, you could watch it with 30 people and they're not getting that revenue. That's what the theaters want. But at the same time, you're still getting your releases. Things are still coming out, and we're finding a way to make do in this crazy time. And why not? Let us have our films until at least, you know, if you want to release them in wide release, like do a wide release again, wait a little bit of time and put them out again. I'm sure people will still go out to the theater and watch them if they're good. That's fine. That's fine by me. I want to see Black Widow really bad. It's been hurting me all day. So just
got a little bit longer. November is going to be right here before you know it.
Yeah,
it's already May. Holy cow!
Yeah, it's not gonna be May. It's May.
Yeah, I think. I don't know. I think it's a tough thing because they could have released it, but I also understand how much these theaters, And this is what surprises me about it so much is these theaters, they plan their whole fiscal years around these movie releases. Black Widow's going to peak here. This Fast and Furious movie is going to come out here. This Jungle Cruise movie is going to come out. You know, they know they kind of gear these things up, and they, and you know, we know that they like build up their staff for certain seasons, and it comes back down, and they kind of ride these waves, right? So now all that's just been gone, and it's going to be a slow crawl. Even when they start opening back up, I don't think so many people are going to be in a rush to go to like the big crowded theaters. And maybe it will make our theater, if they reopen, maybe it will make our theater more crowded because people will be like, let's go to that place because not as many people are there. And then they find out our secrets. But then they'll be like, oh, these chairs are like, what are these chairs? 20 years old? And we're like, yeah.
Yeah, they are.
They are.
They are.
I love the theater experience and going, you know, I was recently on the Bullard channel, Comics with Bullard. I did an interview with him. He interviewed me. And one of the things he asked me was like some things I love to do and what am I missing? And one of the things I'm missing is going to the theater, meeting up with y'all, buying some Twizzlers and a cherry Coke, you know, a little bit of stale popcorn and, you know, watching these movies and sitting there and talking about them for a moment outside and then doing the videos. And, you know, these things are fun. And the PCP Army polls are great. And I love revisiting movies and things like that. And I love doing this live stream format where we can fit more in. Like we couldn't fit all four of us in the studio to be together to talk about this movie. So this is a cool format too. Man, I miss going to theater with y'all. Yeah,
man. Miss it too.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah,
you know, yeah, no kidding. And you know, John, now that my normal off day is Thursday, maybe I just like going to see the movies a little bit later than you do. John be like, I like going to see a movie at 1 a.m.
I like the late show, man. I like going to the late show.
I'm exaggerating.
He's exaggerating, but not by much.
John, we were supposed to watch so many movies together. I'm calling you out, man.
Oh, don't do that.
Several. I'm done. I'm just giving you a hard time because I ain't seen you since 1974.
Oh,
that's it, man.
Look at that. Arminio says Michael Keaton is the best Batman.
I agree with that.
Real quick, Brooks, who's your favorite on-screen Batman?
I'd probably go Christian Bale.
I'm with you. Christian Bale.
I'd agree as well. Christian Bale.
Okay. So we're all ganging up on John there.
Sorry, John. I mean, Keaton's too.
Up yours, Holshoe.
I mean, Keaton's too.
I don't know what Founder is.
Oh, it's about McDonald's.
Yeah, Founder.
Yeah. He plays Ray Kroc.
Yeah, that's
it's a pretty good movie. He does a good job
in
that.
Michael,
the McDonald's movie.
Yeah, Robbie says
Gung Ho.
That's a good movie.
I think it's really underrated, and it's an important part of Americana because you really do have all these Japanese car companies moving to the States and building plants, and it's a cool story. You know, he's the football hero, whatever, and he's got to lead the team. And I love the part where the window gets knocked out, or they didn't put the window in yet, and they're inspecting the cars. Remember that? And he's scrubbing it, and there's no window there, and he's like scratching, like trying to clean it, but there's no windshield.
Sam Fett says, before Keaton, we had Adam West. So for me, he'll always be the best Batman. But like I've said before, I've never seen a bad comic book movie. Some are just better than others.
That's a good way to look at it.
And, you know, some people would say that Keaton physically can't pull off Batman. Like people today look back and they go like, well, I understand why people had a problem because he was not physically what I would think of when I think of Batman. Right. They're thinking of somebody. Man. And I'm like, wait a second. What's your thought in 1989? Who's our only previous on-screen live-action Batman? Adam West. Keaton's in better shape than Adam West, you know?
He was.
Right?
He really was.
I just remember being fascinated as a kid, seeing the black costume with that yellow symbol, just loving it. Oh, my God.
And that
standing beside the Batmobile. Oh,
yeah.
Everything about it. Man, I watched that movie at the 12 movie theater. And it had Batman. It had the full cardboard cutout of Batman standing beside the Batmobile, Michael Keaton in that car. And I was like, shut up and take my money.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
That was it, man. I was cemented for comic books ever since 89 Batman. That was it.
Jelani, what's your favorite Keaton film?
Batman.
Okay.
It'd be Batman. The first one, of course, because I was introduced to him kind of that way. I didn't know anything about this dude. I didn't really. All I cared about was they were making a live action Batman movie, and my uncle and my dad were like excited too and wanted to show me, and I was like, "Yep, I think I'm in this too." You know, and it's when I was really not into comics because like it was probably the 90s before I really got into comics with the comic shop and X-Men. But this was a good starting point for me to just see, people liked this property and then they made a film about it. And I was like, how are they making a film about this? And then I saw the credits, and the credits, I had no clue what was going on, and like the shape and the music's going on, and like you see these shapes as they show the credits, and then it turns into the bat symbol. Oh my God, I'm sold. And like he was a great Bruce Wayne. He was a fantastic Batman. I think he did the scary, intimidating. He was fantastic in that film. And then Birdman will be my second, because Birdman is so layered. Birdman is like, is he crazy? Does he really have powers? Is he this? It makes you ask so many questions, and he plays the character so well. And he's an actor, and it's the last leg of his career, and he really wants this play to work, and he really wants to do this. And it's oh man, it's heartbreaking, it's funny, and it's almost real in certain aspects. And I love both of those films, but Batman's above that one. It's Batman.
Okay, gotcha. What about you, Brooks? What's your favorite Michael Keaton movie?
Probably Batman Returns, actually. I like Batman Returns a little more than the first Batman.
Yeah, me too.
I remember when I was a kid. I remember as a kid seeing it in the theater and really liking it a lot. I saw both of them in the theater, which is rare because I hardly ever went to the theater when I was a kid. But I did see the Batman movies, and I loved Catwoman in that movie. I liked the Penguin, and so I'd say probably Batman Returns.
Yeah, and it's also a great Christmas movie too.
It is a Christmas movie.
I like the kind of weird, dark Tim Burton.
In the summertime, they released it in the summer.
Yeah, there's a lot of Christmas movies released in the summer.
Yeah, superhero films are generally summer films.
Die Hard. Yeah.
If I had to pick one, I would probably go with Beetlejuice. Maybe. I really like Beetlejuice, and that's always been a fascinating film for me. I just love the hell out of that film.
It's been a long time since I've seen Beetlejuice.
Yeah, and I like Batman Returns because it's more Tim Burton-y than the first Batman film, even though the first Batman film was very Tim Burton-y. But Batman Returns is more Tim Burton-y, and I think Elfman scores better than in Returns. And it's the best Penguin we've ever had. But I also think some of my favorite roles that he's done is, I can't remember the name of it's like an FBI or DEA agent, but his role in Jackie Brown, I really like it. It's not that big, but I really think he's really good in that film.
He's really good in that.
And of course, he's great. Anyway. He's great as the Vulture, of course, as well. So, yeah. So I'd probably have to say, I'd probably go Beetlejuice as my favorite Keaton movie, like Keaton vehicle, That's a good one. But I do like the Dream Team, and I was kind of sad it got last place.
We would have watched all of them. Wouldn't matter, but yeah, Keaton's a great actor.
Sam says, my favorite Superman will always be Christopher Reeves. The original Superman movie started it all.
That sounds fair.
So who's your favorite on-screen Superman? Jelani?
Christopher Reeve. He's
are we all going to say this?
Got it right, man. Christopher Reeve got it right.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I mean, he's Superman.
I'm going to say Dean Cain.
You the Lois and Clark Superman?
Yeah.
Lois and Clark, yeah.
But not Dean Cain's handler at the Nashville Comic-Con.
Oh my God.
In 2000 and whatever.
That's why we don't like Dean Cain. That's why he's not allowed on the show.
That's right. He'll never be on this show.
I used to watch that Lois and Clark show, and I tried to rewatch it a while ago, and I was just like, wow, this is so bad. It's so bad.
Liked it. It's cheese, man. It's hot cheese.
I hate it. How can we have all these Superman movies and TV shows, and they're like, he never goes up against supervillains? He's got an absolutely badass rogues gallery, but they never use them. Like, it's just Luthor all the time in a land grab.
Brainiac once.
Luthor and Brainiac. That's what you need in a movie. Luthor and Brainiac. And then you know what you do in the next movie? I don't care. Move on. Parasite. You know, Luther can always be there in the background.
Zod.
He can be there.
They always do Zod.
Yeah, Zod. Yeah, but it's always
Dark Side.
Zod's the only other one that we've gotten, and we've gotten Zod twice. You're right about that. I did forget that, but I mean, they did Doomsday, kinda.
They did Doomsday too early. They showed you too much too soon.
But you got Parasite,
the whole thing,
Cyborg Superman, Mongol. Like,
I would love to see Cyborg Superman on the biggest screen. Would be amazing.
That'd be so cool.
They ruin everything though, because all they see is Lex Luthor. All they see is the original Superman movie, and they're like, "Yep, this is the only formula that works. We love it. Let's sell it." And I'm like, "No, this is not what we want. This is, try to do Superman where he's human. I want to see that. Man of Steel almost did that. It almost tried.
I
Superman
do like Man of Steel. I like every Superman film to a point. I mean,
but you love Superman Returns.
I love Superman Returns. Superman Returns is my favorite Superman movie. I don't care.
The plane scene is where it ends.
I know the Richard Donner cut of Superman 2 is probably my favorite Superman film.
It's good. That's
the
good.
Richard Donner cut.
The Donner cut.
But it still has him spinning the earth backwards.
Yeah.
Which does
that's
not
that's
make
the
sense.
worst part.
I hate that.
And 2, like the kiss makes her forget.
Yes, the Lester one. And the Lester, the theatrical cut, it's the kiss.
Yeah.
What? And then so like a magical Kryptonian roofie or something.
Yeah.
And then in in the Donner cut, it's the spin the earth backwards thing because that was the ending that was planned. I love what Dick Donner did with those 2 Superman films, though. I really do.
And Christopher Reeve embodies Superman.
But
he is Superman.
I still feel like we have never gotten a proper Superman movie.
We haven't.
A proper Superman like comic book onto the screen. Like, I like the Tim Burton movies, right? And then the Schumacher movies, whatever. But they all seem like they're more of interpretations, film adaptations of the public persona, like the public viewing of Batman, Like those 4 movies from the 89 through the 90s, they work really better in your head if you're not trying to view it as adapted from the comic book, but adapted from the TV show. It's like Tim Burton's Adam West Batman, And then when I saw Batman Begins, that was the first time on film where I was like, that's Batman. This is Batman from the comic book. Like,
this is Batman.
This is Batman from the comic book. He's badass. I know and understand now why he can do all this stuff. Christian Bale's Batman before he even puts on that freaking costume.
That's true.
And I just love that. And I think that the Snyder stuff, no matter what you think about it, gave us some very classic comic book imagery in moments. They tried to really take it a little bit more comic booky. Of course, it was a very dark, dour tone to it.
He put too much stuff in there and then made it dark and then made the characters bland and flat. You can't do that for Superman. You can't do that for Batman. And you can't make an Arkham Knight fight scene be the best thing that's ever happened in a film. You're not getting Batman. You don't get Superman. And it hurts me because I wanted to love this. And it's not there because you did too much all at once. And you have so many stories to tell and you're not telling them. Sorry to cut you off on that, but that irritates me. That really irks me, man.
Yeah, I think they've just never done the proper like translation from like what makes Superman work so well in the comic book. But even in the comic books, they have trouble with that. It seems like Superman's a hard character to peg down for a lot of creators. But I've laid my opinions out many times on the channel, and I think they need to embrace the absurd nature of Superman, his powers, his origins, his world. Like All-Star Superman,
right. That's the best Superman story.
I got a tiny little white dwarf, black star thing or whatever. I'm just in my whatever. These, just silly things. And I don't know, there's something that you can do and you got to make it a certain perspective, but you got to give us the right, proper villains, and I want a Luthor. I want a comic book Luthor. I want Luthor in a battle suit. Yeah. I want a corporate mogul Luthor who goes bonkers and at the end has enough and puts on the damn suit. I actually want a Brainiac Luthor team up in which Luthor then realizes because Brainiac starts trying to take him over, and now he has to team up with Superman to stop Brainiac. Like, that's so obvious for a Superman movie. You know, they were the rumors are that they were doing Brainiac in 3, but then they didn't.
They did whatever that was, and Richard Pryor. They were like,
Richard Pryor. And in 4, they were the original. I mean, I hear that Nuclear Man was supposed to be Bizarro, and they just kind of like shirk away. But both of those movies could have easily been Brainiac and Bizarro. They still would have sucked. However, they could at least had Brainiac and Bizarro named and mentioned. You know, I don't know.
Right. It's so much we could have had for all of the characters. Yeah, Superman has a decent Rose Gallery. It's not the best. I would have even loved to see Undergang in something. At least to see Undergang. I want to see Guardian with him sometimes. You know, I want to see stuff like that. You got to see Metropolis as a character too, and they've not really shown it. Like even Donner was just like, Metropolis is New York, so it's just New York. But I want to see Metropolis be a character in this too, just like they try to do Gotham, because Gotham is always dark and gloomy, but it's the character within Batman's storyline, and you have to see that, you know, Superman's world is bright and not gloomy, because they made Man of Steel that, and I'm like, you destroy. First of all, they did too much in Man of Steel. You don't make Zod, you know, destroy half the world, and that's your opener. You know what I'm saying? You just don't do that. I mean, if you do it, don't do it to where you're destroying half of Metropolis on top of it.
I like Man of Steel. I do.
Yeah, I do
like
too.
Man of Steel.
It's discounted by the other one, but yeah,
I like both of them. I like both of them, but your idea of the character of the city being so important, that's a stamp in those. A stamp in those Batman movies is Gotham. It's
Gotham.
And Superman in Metropolis, it's supposed to be the city of tomorrow. And I always like it when it's done futuristically in an Art Deco kind of way. That city needs to stand out. It needs to be kind of the polar opposite. Holshoe, what do you think would make a Superman movie really pop, and what villains would you like to see?
I agree with you earlier with the robot Superman. What is his name? The mechanized Cyborg Superman. Yeah. I always thought he was a really cool villain. It'd be cool.
Hank Henshaw.
With CG now, you could do a badass like Terminator 1. That'd be really cool. And like you said, Lex Luthor in the power suit. This Lex Luthor, even though he's very powerful financially and very smart, he's not in the same physical level. So to see him like battle, you use his money and his brain to try to fight Superman, and then I want to see at the tail end him just get that suit, and then Superman has to fight him. That I want to see that on film. I think that would be amazing.
I would too.
And yeah, I heard it was supposed to be Brainiac 2 for the third one, and then but that thing where that girl or whatever becomes the weird robot, that scared the shit out of me. By the way,
it did too. Me too. Yeah,
it gave me nightmares.
Yeah, it's so weird because I looked back in that not too long ago and I was like, why did that scare me so much when I was a kid? And then I learned.
Me too.
I learned from you guys that it was all of us. All of us that were terrified of that scene when we were kids.
Yeah.
It scared the hell out of me, man.
I still hate watching that. It's still like when all that stuff just flies on her and she gets sucked into the machine. You're like, nope, pass.
Yep. Not right.
Can't do it. Nope.
Yeah. Plus you got like dark evil Superman, you know?
Yeah.
When that movie where he's like dark evil Superman?
Yeah.
Isn't that 3?
That's 3.
No, that's 4. Wait.
No, 4 is when 4. Yeah, 3 is when he's evil and he's like in the bar.
Yeah. And he's got the Superman Return suit though when he's evil. You notice that?
Yeah.
It's the same suit. It's a darker red, but they look the same. I'm like, wait a minute. Yeah, you're right. He puts a hole in that tanker or whatever. I remember that. And he's drinking and I forgot. That is the third one.
Good. Because I confused it with 4. I confused it with 4 too because I thought he went bad in 4 too. But
four's the one with John Cryer, right?
Yeah,
John Cryer's his kid. Who shows up later as Lex Luthor on the show, which I thought was great.
Yeah, he's Lex Luthor's nephew.
And Supergirl, he's Lex Luthor.
Yeah, he is Lex Luthor. What was it? What's his name? Yeah, Gene Hackman didn't want to do that film for some reason, and he still didn't want to like shave his head for any of it, just like in the first film. And it's such a mess. That film, it was just like the death of a production company. And they were like, we're just going to use footage of Superman flying 3 different times. And it's oh God. And I hate that I watched Quest for Peace in the movie theater because it made me sad. Because I was like, this, and I was a little kid, so I didn't know what I was watching. Because I watched I think I watched all of them except for the first Superman in the movie theater. For probably 1 and 2 I didn't watch in the theater. I take that back. 3 and 4 I saw in the theater, and I really wish I didn't. It was Quest for Peace. Like, I had all the stuff from it, all the merchandise and all these things. And it was just like, yay, Superman! And then I saw it and I was like, this isn't Superman.
They took for granted the audience, you know, and they even say that. They're like, we just thought that we didn't have to put a lot of thought and effort and money at it because people would come and buy it. And the cheaper we made it, the more money we would make. And
and they kept, like, the moon fight is the worst thing I've ever seen. And the nails. And the nuclear man's nails scratching in Superman's skin and making him sick. I'm like, oh God, stop this.
One thing I really like is, so you guys know all the big hoopla that Bendis came over to DC and he took over the Superman books, right? And there's differing opinions on those, but I'll tell you this. Within a few issues, one of the first things he did was he made Nuclear Man canon, and then he had a new villain that he created completely demolish and kill him.
That's awesome.
So
that's awesome.
At least there's
that.
I'll
give him credit for that. I'll give him credit for that.
Wasn't Firestorm called the Nuclear Man?
He is the Nuclear Man.
He is the Nuclear Man. But he's not that Nuclear Man.
Yeah, the Superman 4, the Quest for Peace, is kind of sad because it's definitely it was something that, like, Christopher Reeves had a lot to do with that film and its story, and he's very passionate about stopping nuclear proliferation and all that stuff, and it just kind of it comes across as very preachy and just very bad.
It's not Superman. That's not Superman. It hurts so bad. As a kid, I got disappointed a lot as a kid, but that was disappointing.
We can tell.
Just that, you know, Brooks, how you have high hopes.
Brooks, what villains would you like to see in a Superman film?
I wanted to see Darkseid. What's disappointing about Justice League is that they kind of hinted at Darkseid, and now, like, they're probably not going to do it.
Yeah,
oh, they aren't. Let's hope they don't.
It's like it really. I thought they should have done. They should have gone with Darkseid for Justice League.
Yep.
Forget Steppenwolf and all this other. Like, maybe have, like, you know, Steppenwolf and some of the other, like, maybe Granny Goodness or something show up, and then, like, in the end, like, and for the big final, like, Darkseid steps through a boom tube and is like, oh yeah, and he just beats the crap out of Superman. And then there's actually a reason for the Justice League to need to team up to, you know, fight him instead of, like, you know, Superman shows up and stomps Steppenwolf. And it's really like, I
mean, they could have done a Superman movie where Steppenwolf and a few of, like, Calabac and Desaad are the villains, and then you lead into it. And I think the biggest problem with that is that they wanted to stretch this out. And Snyder had, like, a 5-movie plan or something like that. And so that was one of the biggest problems with that, is that
they rushed everything.
It's weird because it's like, okay, first of all, DC was kind of like damned if they do and damned if they don't. Because if DC, everybody nowadays, in hindsight's 2020, everybody goes, they should have just focused on solo films and made those good, and then worried about tying them in. That's what Marvel did, right? And that's why Marvel They made a good Iron Man film. They made a great Captain America film. You know, they just kept building on that, and they led to the Avengers. They were really trying to throw everything in. I mean, Man of Steel was the first one, but not intentionally, right? So, like, BVS, they're, like, throwing all this stuff, and you're introducing Flash and Aquaman, and
you don't need to do any of
very briefly, and Cyborg, but very briefly.
In an email.
Yeah, but you're trying to, and I thought that what they were trying to do was not mimic what Marvel did. Now, maybe they would have been more successful, but I also really feel like if they would have done that route, like what Marvel did, and instead of Thanos' Darkseid, well, I think everybody would have been, like, just bitching that they were copying Marvel.
Who cares? Show me my movie. It's a comic book film. It's sequential storytelling. One starts the other, and you make a story universe like that. Marvel is the only one that gets it, that understands that and gets it right. And I'm like, to this day, I'm like, DC screwed up so bad. They did too much too soon trying to get the money. All they saw was the money. Marvel was almost bankrupt. and did Iron Man. And basically they were like, well, if Iron Man doesn't work, Marvel is done. We can't make films anymore. They sold their properties off before this even happened. And then the success of it started, they started building on what they were doing. And that's what you're supposed to do. Make something small and start out and make it larger. And you're telling an overarching story. That's what I love about the Marvel Universe. MCU is the best thing that's ever come out as far as filmmaking. I mean, it's kind of dulled it because now the story's over. How do we go after the story ends?
I assume that you mean the best thing to come out as far as a cinematic universe.
Cinematic universe. That's what I mean. I don't mean movies ever. No, I mean cinematic.
These movies are better than Citizen Kane. I said it. What is this boring crap about a sled?
I don't think it's the best cinematic universe either. I think the best cinematic universe is the horror films from Universal in the 30s and 40s, but that's just me.
View Askew?
Oh, that's a good one too.
Universe, yeah. Why not? Except Chasing Amy. Past Amy.
Chasing Amy is phenomenal.
That's a great film.
I think it's his best film.
Mallrats is awesome. Mallrats is my favorite Kevin Smith film. He was working.
Mallrats is okay, but it's not his best. Clerks is better than Mallrats. Dogma's better than Mallrats. Chasing Amy is better than Mallrats.
Man, you're just all that I wanted.
I rewatched it. I still
the best
like
soundtrack. I'll give you that.
Oh, that's an awesome movie.
Clerks has the best
Brody
soundtrack.
Bruce. Brody Bruce is my favorite character in the View Askew universe.
Brody Bruce is
Brody Bruce.
Oh, little Brody right there.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Stink palm.
Yeah, he's got the stink palm.
Yep. He licked his fingers. I love that movie.
I did that to our friend George one time.
He deserved it.
I stink palmed the hell out of him with some chocolate pretzels and videotaped it and showed it to him.
He deserved it.
No, never mind. I'm misremembering. I didn't stink palm him. I licked one and gave it to him.
You licked?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's
I would never do anything like that nowadays.
Okay. I'm not having any pretzels when I come over.
Like, John, try some of these chocolate covered pretzels. They're delicious.
Oh,
Yeah, I've never
why'd you get him out of the cat box?
I would never stink palm someone. That's gross. Actually, if you think about it. I don't know. It's a good movie, though. Who's your favorite Lex Luthor of all time?
Me?
Yeah, because I see Sam Fett said his favorite Luthor is Clancy Brown.
Clancy Brown. It's cool.
Which, that's great, obviously.
He's awesome.
Michael Rosenbaum was really good.
He also did the voice of Raiden in MK Defenders of the Realm.
Yeah. Nerd!
Clancy Brown was?
Yeah, he was Raiden in
nice.
the Mortal Kombat cartoon.
Yeah, he was. And he was in Earth 2. He was in a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and I don't want to get Jelani going, but I also I didn't not like Eisenberg as Luthor. I like Eisenberg as Luthor for what they were doing for that film.
He could have been. See, he tried to play Joker. He wanted to be Joker, and and he yipped.
See,
and then he was like too biblical, and
see,
he was just.
Jelani, this is where you're showing me your misunderstanding of the Superman mythos and the comic book history of Lex Luthor.
I don't mind Silver Age Lex Luthor. I get it. He wants to be the redhead, whatever goofy character that he is, wig wearing, whatever. I don't care.
You know what Luthor is? Do you know what Luthor is? Luthor is a mad scientist, corporate mogul.
Yes,
right? Who's got severe issues with God and daddy issues, right? So like I think it.
But hey, even Hackman wanted land. Hackman actually played it right for me. And I wouldn't even say he's the best one. He's not even the best one.
I think the best one is the disgraced Kevin Spacey, to be honest with you.
It's true. I agree with you. God,
I think he could have played an even better Luthor if in a different film.
I agree with you because Kevin Spacey not only had to look for it, he has the demeanor of it. And watching House of Cards, I was like, "Oh, that's Lex Luthor. That's exactly where he is." Yeah,
y'all remember I was calling that Kevin Spacey's Lex Luthor thing for years and years and years before that movie came out. Like, that was my pick, and I was like,
come on, man,
right,
so clean. He was. Oh, wait, do this tiger thing. Tiger's right. Because
who's Ben Foster?
Ben
Foster,
the kid?
Is that the kid that played Angel?
Yes, he was the kid that played Angel.
And Last Stand.
And Last Stand. Oh. Yeah, he was in The Mechanic. He's a good villain. He plays a good villain, and he's not given any credit. He's not he's very it's very subtle. He got it. I think he could play a good Luthor as well, a good young Luthor.
Okay,
as well.
Hammertime. Who's your favorite Luthor, and why is it the guy from Lois and Clark?
That guy was awesome. I liked him.
It's probably Gene Hackman. I think that, you look at the budget and you look at when that movie came out, and it sort of set this precedent, like, oh, whoever you get for the villain has to be a very prestigious, respected actor. And I think that's why we got Nicholson as Joker. I know he kind of overshadowed Keaton, and I think that's why Marvel did that. I mean, look at the Iron Man villains, and you get these big, mega, prestigious, great actors who probably are too good for comic book films, and they make great villains.
Like
look at the first Iron Man. Look at the first. Yeah, and the first Iron Man was
Jeff Bridges.
Jeff Bridges. And so you get these great actors, and turn around in the future. You got Michael Keaton playing Vulture. So you get these prestigious, great actors to come back and take on these villain roles. And so Gene Hackman, man, and he was my Lex Luthor that I grew up with, obviously. And I mean, obviously, there's problems with some of those films, but.
I like his performance as Luthor, and it's fun, and it focuses on one angle of Luthor, and that's cool. And this is before the business mogul Luthor even came across. Right. That was John Byrne in '86, so that wasn't even really an idea yet. So he was playing the criminal mastermind. Yep. He was super smart, and he wasn't very intelligent. And that, they all focus on that. Like, all the Luthors are very cunning and smart. You know what I'm saying? They all are. I really like Eisenberg had some of that mythological stuff, and I think mythologically, BVS is very sound, and I think Luthor's very integral to that. But Hackman was cool, and I even as a kid, I love all the goofy wigs that he's wearing, because if he doesn't want to cut his hair, if he doesn't want to look bald, at least they had some fun with it. And he's always like wearing some kind of goofy wig. Yeah. And I love him, and he's very smart and very cunning. They could have focused a little bit more on the science aspect, Yeah. But I think he did a good job, and I love it at the end when he finally pulls off the wig and he's like, "I'm Lex Luthor." He's a little out in the open, though, like doesn't even care. He wants to be known in notoriety, Yeah. I think Hackman was really, really good. John, what do you think was the problem? See, we got Sam here. So the problem with the DC movieverse was that they waited too long to try to have a shared universe. The actors who played Batman and Superman were too old ready by the time a proper JLA movie was ready. What do you think was some of the missteps were on the DCEU? And why it kind of stalled out at first?
I think they definitely should have a different approach. I would have liked to see because originally they were going to do another standalone Superman film before we got Batman vs. Superman. I would have liked to see that first. Give Henry some room to grow as a character, because he's not my favorite Superman, but maybe he could have been. I would love to see a standalone Affleck film. We didn't need 3 films for everybody like they did with these other, like Marvel did. Because remember, Marvel's so great. Yeah, well, in the 70s and the 80s, who dominated the big screen? It was DC. It took a while for Marvel to get to where they were, and they did a good job. I'm not saying they didn't. They did a great job. Having control over your characters, you could do they weren't at the mercy of the studios misinterpreting these characters or just throwing shit on the screen because they had the rights. So DC could have. I would have done one more Superman film, one Batman film, and then I would have done a maybe I don't know if I'd be a Justice League, but bring some of the characters together on the screen. I don't know. I think Batman vs. Superman, especially the director's cut, is a pretty good film, and Justice League's got tons of problems. There's parts I enjoy, but overall it's a mediocre film. So they don't need to copy Marvel. but they need to go about a different approach. And I don't know. I think the biggest problem is if you're going to pick a director and hand them your franchise, you've got to trust that director. If you pull the rug from out from under them, you're always going to get garbage. And that's been proved with Fantastic Four, Justice League, etc.
Yeah, I agree with that. And yeah, I think that if they would have done the Man of Steel 2 beforehand, and I also think it was a very bad idea to make Batman 20 years in the game.
Yep.
Because then, like, how are you going to build a franchise around that? With Batman being 20 years older than Superman does not work for that character dynamic that you need. That's from the comics. It didn't fit. And Snyder's a big Frank Miller fan. You can tell. I mean, he did 300. He loves Frank Miller. He loves Alan Moore. We know exactly the kind of comic books Zack Snyder loves.
Yeah.
And he took a late 80s adult, mature graphic novel approach that DC was using back then and applied it to the DC universe today. And especially because you wouldn't think that DC's the dark franchise between it and Marvel. You know what I'm saying? Marvel are the characters that always have a little bit more hardship, a little bit more grounded in reality. And they're basically making movies that DC should make, you know, like as far as tone and vibrancy, like that thrill that you got from Iron Man 1. That should be the thrill when Superman flies for the first time in the next Superman film. And so I think, I think they definitely should have slowed it down a little bit and focused, because it seems like they've had success recently by doing these movies that are just focused on making a good movie. Aquaman was successful. Wonder Woman was a smash. Shazam did really well. So, and I'm really, really pumped for this new Batman film.
Me too.
Yeah, me too.
I think Matt Reeves has a good vision for it. How excited are you, Holshoe?
I'm actually super excited. I wasn't after initial casting of Batman, but I do like Matt Reeves, and I do like what I've heard, like the basics from the concept. More casting sold on, but I'll give it. I'm down to give everything benefit of the doubt. You know what I'm saying, when it transitioned to film. So there's things I'm not always excited about. I'm like, oh, why would they do this or why would they do that? Because I've been pleasantly surprised in the past. I'm not a big Christian Bale fan as far as his. Like, I like him as an actor, but when they announced him as Batman, I was like, he's Batman? And I enjoyed those films. I really like Dark Knight. Now, I don't like him as much as Keaton. I realize it's probably closer to the comic as his character goes. You know what I'm saying? And Christian Bale does a good job. And overall, I really love Dark Knight. I think it's a fantastic film. But I wasn't on board 100% when they announced him. But I still enjoyed the films. And I think I'm just going to take a wait-and-see approach. So, but I really have a lot of faith in the director and the direction of the film.
What do you think about the costume of the Batmobile?
I love the Batmobile. I love the costume so far. What I've seen, it looks like they're taking a more realistic approach, but at the same time, they're doing comic booky, but they're not going crazy with it. I mean, the idea of Keaton at home, laying out latex or whatever. I mean, I don't know how that would have worked. Like, this costume that Batman looks like he has looks like a real costume, but it looks like it's using legitimate pieces from actual armor and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The only thing I worry about is that car. That engine's exposed in the back. You're just asking for somebody to put like a 50 cal into the actual engine.
It'll probably happen.
And crack the engine block. I think it's cool, man. I like the direction. I'm excited about Catwoman. I'm excited about the cast in general, and the fact that they're saying, "Hey, we're doing a trilogy," and it's going to be connected like they did with the Dark Knight films. I'm excited, especially since now they're saying it's going to kind of. They were saying recently that it's not Batman fully formed, so you're not going to get him like they're not going to do a retelling. It sounds like of his origins, but you're also going to get a very still young Batman, and I want to see that, because that's my biggest complaint about the Dark Knight trilogy is it jumps ahead pretty quickly. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And and that's not Bale's fault by any stretch of the imagination, but hopefully this another trilogy is only a couple of years apart, and so we get a more I don't know. I want to see him grow up and become the Batman by the third film that we all expect him to be. I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited too. I love that car. I think it looks great. I love the idea of Colin Farrell as Penguin. It just seems like I think Colin Farrell's been waiting a long time to sink his teeth into a really good villain role. I think he's been waiting ever since Daredevil. So
he better not be like
fat suit.
I need a costume.
He's gonna have a fat suit.
Is he?
I don't know.
No, because there's been photos of him from set, and he's just like
Yeah.
he's just wearing like a suit or whatever, and I think that's fine.
Yeah, that bothers me. Yeah. I don't know. I wish they went. I just want them portly. That's all I'm asking.
Well, I think with I think the Penguin and Gotham worked really well, and so I think that
it was like the best part of Gotham. I think.
Yeah.
And I've never watched all of Gotham, but I hear he's one of the best parts.
Yeah.
But.
I'm not a big fan of that show, but I volunteer right here to start making baked goods and fattening him up.
Yeah, right. Maybe we should. Yeah.
Yeah.
You should find out what Christian Bale did when he did that Dick movie.
Oh yeah. But
which, if it was me, I'd be like, I'm eating Mexican pizzas every day.
Yeah.
That's what I would do. You know, when you were talking earlier about, John, you were talking about how they picked up from Gene Hackman the idea that you got to put like a major name in these roles. Christopher Nolan says that what they did with Superman in that first film, how nobody knew who Christopher Reeves was, right? But everybody that played around him, they knew, right? And we're talking about Marlon Brando, right? And Gene Hackman, like they had those, like the first Superman trailer just shows their names.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
And
it's
the
like,
S.
and the S. And so they're like, "Whoa, Marlon Brando's Superman!"
Yeah.
But Nolan says that's exactly what he was thinking when he cast Batman. He goes, "Not a lot of people." Christian Bale was in movies: American Psycho, Equilibrium, The Machinist, Newsies. So we can go far back. Empire of the Sun, right?
Empire of the Sun. Yeah.
Yeah, he was already in movies, but he wasn't like a recognizable face. Not a lot of people were familiar with him as a vehicle for a movie, right? And so, but look at everybody he put in there. Rutger Hauer from the Rutger Hauer Power Hour, Morgan Freeman, Michael Caine. He like very highly prestigious actors around it. And he said he modeled that right off of that Donner film.
And those are great films. I mean, it makes sense. I wanted to see Superman. I want to see Superman like that. And if you're gonna cast someone, make it an unknown. Make it something like that. Like when I heard Robert Pattinson was gonna get this role, I was actually excited. I'm really excited that he's Batman because he's a young guy. He has acting chops. I mean, Twilight. I'm not gonna give him too hard a time on that. But it's a film. But he was also in Goblet of Fire, and I thought he was great in that film. So. I know he has the chops for it. He's done films after, of course, Twilight that are worth of note. And he's
Lighthouse.
He's done great films. I haven't watched them, not yet. But I haven't seen a lot of them. But the fact he's there, they're giving him the shot to do it. It is the Michael Keaton treatment, and you have to give people an outlet to do it. As actors and let them do it. And I want unknowns to be stars. Hugh Jackman. I mean, you put virtually Hugh Jackman in that role as Wolverine, and that's all we know him as. And I can't see anybody else as him. But if they get another character, make it an unknown character, make it an unknown person. So I feel the same way. I like the unknown factor.
Yeah, right. We were talking because we know that Keanu Reeves supposedly has been talking to Marvel, and so somebody asked me who Keanu could play, and a lot of people were like, "Oh, maybe Silver Surfer," and I was like, he could be Wolverine."
Yeah, he could be.
And then someone's like, "Oh, he's too tall." I'm like, "Do you know how tall Hugh Jackman is?"
Hugh Jackman's pretty tall.
Speaking of being as tall as Hugh Jackman, Brooks, are you pumped for this new Batman film?
Yeah, I haven't really seen much on it, like so far. Like,
have you seen the Batmobile or the costume yet?
Yeah, you showed me like a still of the costume in the Batmobile, and it looks good. But I mean, it wasn't, it didn't reveal a whole lot really. It's still kind of back then. It was still pretty. They're still kind of trying to keep it a little on the down low, I think. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I'm glad to. I mean, I'd love to see a new Batman movie. I'm actually excited about the new Wonder Woman movie too. Like, I was like, oh, that looks like it'd be pretty good. Looks like the kind of
that was awesome.
A retro Thor Ragnarok type style with it.
I think that car.
Yeah, that car is sweet.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah, I'm about that life.
And the video where you see him in the that video right there.
Yeah.
It just, I don't know. I really like it. And it's really grown on me the more and more I see it. I love his movements. the music that's in there too. And God, just look at that. And John, you're right though. Someone's gonna totally take out that engine.
I see that coming. Yeah.
He's got a Wayne Tech force field around it or some shit.
Yeah.
Not this Batman. They said that this is going to be a very specific crime, noirish detective story.
I love it.
It's him solving a crime. I still think 100% they're doing Long Halloween. And I would love to see
I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't doubt it.
That would be awesome.
Like a mystery that's good, like a series of murders that's going to take forever to figure out.
Forever to find. Yeah. I want that. I would want that too.
Maybe they'll do Hush.
And that's cool.
He's actually a detective. He's actually detecting.
Yeah, you know that's going to be cool. And that also gives you a good reason to have so many villains. You got Catwoman, you got Penguin, you got Riddler, you got Two-Face, you know, like, and one of my favorite things about Long Halloween is it also is the origin of Two-Face. And I think that could be really cool.
Great.
And I don't think they've confirmed this, but the rumors are that Matthew McConaughey is Dent. But that's not like a confirmation or anything, right, John? You haven't heard a confirmation on that?
No, I haven't heard a confirmation. I heard a rumor, but I don't.
He would make.
There's a lot of rumors.
And and Gollum is Alfred. We forgot about that, right? What's his name?
Yeah, for sure. That's 100%.
Yeah, Andy Serkis.
Yeah, Andy Serkis is, and Jeffrey Wright as Gordon.
Yep.
Isn't Serkis directing the new Venom?
He is. Let there be carnage.
Venom.
Let there be carnage. Carnage like a turd in the wind.
How was that film popular?
I'm just glad that they took the wig off of Woody. Have you seen the footage yet? Like he's just got his normal hair, but it's red, but he doesn't have that goofy. Did you see Venom yet? Holshoe?
Yeah, I saw Venom. That wig looks stupid.
What is he, like a Ronald McDonald or something?
I mean, yeah, and the reference, there's obviously setting up Carnage, but I was like, oh, it's not going to happen. But obviously Venom was successful, so it's going to happen. And obviously we know what's happening, but there was that, you know, like, oh, they're teasing it, but is it really going to happen? And I think that's a pretty awesome character. To get Woody Harrelson as Carnage is awesome. Like, great casting.
It's a great character.
Venom is one of those movies where you could tell, and I think we even said this when we first reviewed it, was that it's one of those movies where you're like, the second one could be way better.
Yeah.
Now that you got the origin out of the way, because they had to do a wonky version of the origin, and I still think they missed an opportunity by not having it involved with Spidey. And I don't know.
They couldn't, I guess.
Not at the time. Well, they thought that they were going to be able to build their own, thing.
What they thought with the Amazing Spider-Man movies too. Then.
Yes, they did. You know,
they overreached.
They did overreach. They did overreach. You know, Sam Raimi did a great job for them though with those first two Spider-Man films. And for about half of the third one.
And the studio messed with the third one.
Yeah.
That's all that was.
John, and the rest of y'all, I haven't heard you yet. So, John, I want to know what your response is to Sam Raimi doing the Doctor Strange sequel.
Awesome. I mean, I love Sam Raimi. I think he's a great director. I think he's a good writer. And I'm happy to see him behind a Marvel property. And I think that if they let him do what he wants to do, and I'm sure he's got a script already. Like, here's the script. But then when he's got control, I think my only complaint of his films are the films that studios have interfered with.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's really got good vision. I think he's a great director. So I'm excited. And when I heard that, I mean, I enjoyed the first film. I enjoyed his character more in the Avengers than I did the film. Because I think Benedict Cumberbatch does a really good job as Doctor Strange. But Doctor Strange is not by any means one of my favorite Marvel characters. But I think he did a good job, and it changed. He's one of those characters that I really loved on the big screen that I wasn't really familiar with. And the same thing, I would say the same thing, and I'm going to get shit for this, about Captain Marvel, because I'm not a big fan or that knowledgeable about Captain Marvel in the Marvel Universe, not counting the DC Shazam, whatever. So the movie changed my opinion of it and of this character, and the same thing with Doctor Strange. So I'm all aboard. Sam Raimi.
Yeah, especially knowing that they want to go into a more horror kind of feel for this one.
Yeah, and Sam Raimi's perfect.
Yeah, and they just announced that it's actually being delayed a little bit. So it's going to be out later than we thought, because they had already postponed it one time because of they shifted the whole schedule back. And now they postponed it again. But I think I take that as a good sign, because I think that means Sam Raimi is wanting to have some influence on that script. Mm-hmm. And that's how he works. And I think Raimi's gotten kind of a bad reputation here lately of not being a very power guy as far as the director goes. And of course, back in the day, 20 years ago, he was always on our like greatest lists, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like he just had a string of movies that just were kind of mediocre and didn't do so well. And like you said, studio interference, like that Oz movie, you know, is kind of like, and like, I mean, what has he really been doing? You know, then again, I love certain things. Like I love Drag Me to Hell. I think that movie's awesome. And I hear people bash it.
I love that.
I like that movie.
Yeah.
And he's also always kind of been tied to the Evil Dead franchise. He was a producer, of course, on The Evil Dead, the remake of it, right? Wasn't he heavily involved in Ash versus the Evil Dead, the series?
He was.
Yeah,
series.
he did the first episode. I think he directed the first episode, and I think he either produced or co-wrote some of the episodes. He was heavily involved. He didn't let go with the franchise, and I'm happy he was involved with it because I think that's why it was so damn good.
That was a great show.
Yeah.
Ash versus the Evil Dead.
It has its moments, though.
But I think he's going to be great for Sam Raimi, especially pushing a more horror-oriented vibe for it. And you know Bruce is going to be in there somewhere, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yep.
Brooks, what do you think about
that
Sam
car?
Raimi?
Better be in it.
Oh, it will. What do you think about Sam Raimi doing the next Strange movie?
I'm excited. I can't wait to see it. It's like, you know, he's not a stranger to comic book movies, you know, and I like the Sam Raimi style. Like, you know, he kind of has, you know, he does have his own kind of fingerprint on his movies. That, you know, you can tell a Sam Raimi movie from like another director's movie. You know, it's kind of like, you know, how Tim Burton's old stuff used to have that, you know, distinctive style.
Yeah. And Sam's at times goes away from that style. And I think A Simple Plan's one of his underappreciated films because not a lot of people remember that movie anymore.
True.
But that movie's amazing.
It is,
you know, and he's capable of doing so much more than just horror. He really, really is. And even though this is horror, it's also going to properly introduce the Marvel multiverse. That's a cool idea. And the early rumors on the villain were Nightmare, and I honestly think Bruce Campbell could play Nightmare.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah, he can pull it off.
How excited are you for this news, Jelani?
Man, this is the best thing to happen. I love that they found like this director to find this film because who was the guy that was previously slated for this? But like
the guy who did the first one, right?
With Feige, yeah. It's Kevin Feige who wants a cohesive structure. That's why Ant-Man didn't do so well with Edgar Wright, because he wants it in the narrative of this sequential storytelling that I've mentioned before. And I think Sam Raimi not only fits this mold, he embodies what this film could be. And it's dark. It's going to be dark. It'll be pushing R-rated, but I think that he can do it in a way where like audiences will love it. Army of Darkness. Well, Army of Darkness is like rated PG-13, right? It's not. Well, then never mind.
Music.
Brooks is
over. Somebody win a new car.
All you got to do is play ball.
That's right.
So I have an idea, guys, for the next PCP Army movie poll. Because right now, obviously, we did Johnny Dangerously tonight because it won the Keaton edition. And I like doing the themes. Let's get back to doing some fun themes, right? So we got one right now at the PCP Army. If you're on Facebook, join the PCP Army and vote right now. It's a poll. And it's a modern horror classics. And this is our Dylan edition because Dylan, that son of a bitch, wants to do a stream with us. So next Friday, we'll be talking about the winner. And right now, Army of Darkness is winning, speaking of Sam Raimi. So, heck yeah. So it just might be Army of Darkness next Friday.
I can't wait.
Here's one that I was thinking about. And I know John can feel me on this one. I am missing sports so much. In particular, baseball. What if we did a baseball movies poll?
Those are so good. Sandlot.
Right?
Yeah.
I think a baseball movie poll would be cool.
It
John, would you be cool with doing a baseball movie poll with us?
No matter what you do, Major League is going to win. Even though it's not a serious film, Major League's just going to win. I'm just telling it right now.
I think Sandlot's going to win. But
you think so?
I think Sandlot.
Major League's awesome, but Sandlot.
Right now, I'm thinking Major League, Sandlot, the League of Their Own.
8 Men Out.
Yep.
What's the one? Field of Dreams.
Are you doing baseball movies?
Field of Dreams. Yeah, doesn't that sound like a good idea?
Mm-hmm.
What's the Sam Raimi baseball movie with the Tigers?
Love of the Game.
Love of the Game.
Yeah. Let's just pick every baseball film almost that we can think of. We'll throw it on there.
Yeah.
I was Ash versus the New York Yankees.
Yeah, right. Kevin Costner's in 3 baseball movies, including my favorite baseball movie, which is my favorite sports movie, which is Bull Durham.
Bull Durham is fantastic.
Bull Durham,
great. I see. I haven't seen 42.
42 is good.
I haven't seen
42 is awesome. Jackie Robinson. Yeah, that's good. There are a lot. Man, there are a lot of them.
If you put 30 films on that vote list, you got to narrow it down to like 6, right?
I would think we usually narrow it down to 5 or 6, but we could probably push it to 10 or something for this one.
Yeah.
Only because
Sandlot.
Yeah, I was see.
Yeah,
I would love to revisit 8 Men Out too, but that one wouldn't win. 8 Men Out's a great one.
Yeah.
Sandlot's one of the best sports movies ever too.
I actually like the Babe Ruth movie with John Goodman in it too.
Babe.
Yeah,
Babe. Yeah.
Wait, was it called Babe?
I think it was called The Babe.
Yeah, The Babe.
The Babe.
Oh yeah,
that's right.
That's right.
Wait, that's the movie with the pig, right? Yeah, that's what you guys are thinking of. I hope that wins. I like that little pig.
Especially the baseball scene. It's a good bit.
The pig wins the World Series.
Pig wins the World Series. I just miss baseball so much. Did you hear, John, about their new plan right now and the one league, not an American and major? Like, isn't that weird? Did you hear about that? They're talking about doing one league right now and having 3 divisions or something like that, and playing in home stadiums but with no crowds. And they're trying to limit the amount of travel that they would have to do. So like all the teams that are geographically close are in the same league in a way. Isn't that weird?
Oh, okay. So instead of it being draft, okay, which they already kind of do with American, but they're going to blur the American and National and just throw them together.
Yeah, but I'm like, then who's going to win?
Right.
I guess you would have the division winners plus a wild card or two, like something maybe. I don't know how they would do it.
I don't know. When would you start this?
Right now, their plan is they say that they could start because they need to do a week of workouts and 3 weeks of spring training. So they're thinking about doing that in June and having baseball ready for July, and then do a July, August, September, October, and then the World Series and playoffs in November. And it would be like 100 games or 80 games or something like that instead of the 162 because they don't have time to obviously do that now.
What if the winner, though, is a northern team? They're going to do the playoff in November in Detroit or New York where it's 2 degrees.
I mean, sometimes the World Series already in November, right?
It's close.
Well, it's in October at the tail end, right? It depends on, yeah. I don't know.
I don't care.
I'm happy to get some baseball. I want some baseball, but what I don't want is a half-assed approach to it.
Yeah. But it would be nice to have baseball. I don't even know if, and I hear that the NBA is making plans right now to kind of finish up a shortened version of their season.
That's more of a contact sport. I don't know if it can do.
Well, what they would do is they would have everybody tested. So as long as you know that the players are good and you're not having big crowds, then yeah, you can do it. Like, I still think they could have done the NCAA tournament. They could have continued doing basketball games. They just would have had to. At the time, I think testing was way less available, obviously. But
yeah,
if Joe Rogan can get everybody tested on his show, surely the LA Lakers can get their team tested, right? I mean, they were already testing all the basketball players once, what's his name? When he got it.
That dude got sick, yeah.
I heard for football, they're just all going to play ECMO Super Bowl. Is that true?
That's true.
Did you notice how the NASCAR stuff, though, they're like just playing racing games now?
Yeah, I heard that.
That's funny.
Heard that doing that for like motorcycle races and stuff too.
Yeah, that's kind of funny.
Yeah.
I've gotten into to replace sports for me right now is John, I don't know if I've told you this.
F1's doing the same thing, but F1.
But F1?
I was going to say F1. Well, you cut out there. I was going to say F1, it was planning to, I think, end of the month or something. They're planning to do them and NASCAR, how about doing some races just without people? You know what I'm saying? Just some empty stadiums.
I've really gotten into lately Hot Wheels racing on YouTube. There's this YouTube channel, John. John, you got to try out this YouTube channel. It's called 3dbotmaker.com, whatever. Dude, this dude's got this elaborate track that he built, and he does racing, and he like films it with like GoPros on like tracking cameras and stuff. Like it looks like a real race, but it's so much fun. So me, Mike, and a few others at work, Mike built a drag strip for us, and during the shutdown, we've been working, doing curbside and whatnot, and we've been playing Hot Wheels. So every time I'm at the store, I buy a new Hot Wheel toy, and we go and we race them. It's really freaking fun, man.
That's awesome.
Really, really fun. Really fun.
That's insane.
Speaking of Hot Wheels, does anybody have anything for show and tell tonight? And I know that I didn't mention this to John, so I don't know if John's going to have anything for show and tell.
I do have one thing that I got as a birthday gift.
Oh, yeah. John just had a birthday last weekend, y'all.
Happy birthday, old man.
Wow.
What are you, 97 now?
The PCP gave him some love.
It happens to be right next to me, so I can grab it. So that worked out. I didn't know we were doing this, but I just happened to have a birthday gift.
Yeah, let's do it.
Oh, man.
What do you got?
Okay. Let me grab it here. This is what I got as a birthday gift. Let me grab it. It was it's a Han Solo bobblehead.
Oh, that's
nice.
cool.
And it's kind of older. Well, it's not that old. 2007. So it's not a new one. It is Funko though.
Wow.
So.
And it didn't have
cool.
the TV head thing. Yeah, that's cool, man.
I think that is
Yeah,
cool.
I got that.
Nice.
I do like Star Wars. I'm not a die-hard Star Wars person, but everybody loves Star Wars. Everybody likes Star Wars. Like no one hates Star Wars, right? So,
Right.
and who doesn't love Han, man? He's got. I had that gun as a kid, and that was my favorite gun. I wish I could find it.
Yeah, it's a little pricey now. We had one in the shop not too long ago.
The pew pew gun. Pew pew.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very sweet, man.
Yeah,
Happy
I was happy
birthday,
about that.
man.
No complaints there. Thanks, man. It was nice. I spent some time with my family, and it was during all this. It's nice to actually have some contact with people.
Yeah, dude.
That was
That's
nice.
awesome.
Sam says
I'm glad.
NASCAR with no crowds is what it's been like for the last 5 years.
Listen, NASCAR movies are good. I like NASCAR movies.
Like Days of Thunder.
Days of Thunder,
Talladega Nights is amazing.
Talladega Nights. There are a lot of good NASCAR movies. I don't know what it is about like that. I'm not a fan of NASCAR, but man, those movies are just great. So just some of them.
You
And I
know,
love Days of Thunder. It's just hot cheese.
John, I was thinking about it. You had your birthday last weekend. My birthday's coming up. I'm not, we're not doing anything, right? For my birthday, what I'm actually doing is I'm doing a regular live stream on Sunday night, and I'm going to invite as many people as possible to like come in and out throughout the stream. So over a course of 2 to 3 hours, I have as many people from the PCP crew and from the YouTuber crew and world, like all come together and just kind of have a fun, loose thing. So you are all, of course, invited to chill with me virtually on my birthday.
I don't have a camera, so I can't do it.
Okay. That's
Terrible. Yeah, terrible.
yeah. But when everything kind of gets back a little bit more normal and we all get to go out and like have a drink together, hopefully maybe around Jelani's birthday, we'll just celebrate everybody's birthday that we got to miss all in one night.
That sounds good.
Mine's June the 1st.
I know.
They're
Good.
playing.
Hopefully things start to normalize by then. We can have a few beers.
That'd be awesome.
Because I'm sure the bars will start opening in a couple weeks here, but I ain't going.
Yeah.
And I've
I'm
always,
scared of that too,
I've always wanted to go to Dave and Buster's for my birthday, right? Which was in Nashville, and
Now
we
it's
never
here.
did it. And now it's here, and I ain't going to Dave and Buster's.
They'll
You know what I
call-
miss doing? I miss going out and eating lunch, Holshoe. You know what I'm saying? Like it's been a long time already, and I
It's
miss
been a
it.
long time since we ate lunch too, Holshoe. We gotta get
I
that.
can only eat so much frozen pizza and cereal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I could eat frozen pizza and cereal for like a while consistently, but then it's
That's what I've been doing, but it's starting to get old. I really want some Chinese food and some chicken tenders.
Yeah, that would be nice. You can fry them up, man. Just go to the store, get some chicky tendies.
I don't cook.
Have you not been doing like a Grub South or anything, man? Have a Grub Hub?
No, I've been trying to avoid even like any contact at all or any fast food because I've still been going to my parents' house and helping them out. So I've quarantined myself completely because I do have contact with them and they're high risk.
Yeah. I understand.
So I don't want to even think about, contact with anybody and catching something. So I don't even do the groceries now. I've been doing the Walmart pickup thing.
Yeah.
So I don't have any direct contact. Because again, I'm not worried about it. I mean, I don't want to get it. It sounds terrible, but I'm more worried about being a host and a carrier and them getting ill. So
you make totally sense, man. Total sense.
Absolutely here. Brooks, you got anything for show and tell?
Yes, actually, my neighbor today, he just gave me a whole box of treasures.
Really?
Oh wow!
Uh-oh.
Check this out. It's the Master Sword.
Oh,
awesome!
That is so freaking cool.
You win show and tell.
What's that for? What's that from?
Oh my God!
Zelda, man. It's Legend of Zelda.
And he also gave me this super cool Halo sword.
The Halo sword. God, I hate that sword in the game, man.
And
some guys like, I used to be a fantasy merc, and now I'm getting out of the business. So just take all my treasures, Brooks.
And actually, maybe you could help me figure out what is it? Who? You know who this guy is, Robbie?
Yeah, man, that's a Power Ranger. That's Blaze.
Oh, okay. I'm
pretty sure that's Blaze. I'm pretty sure. Hold that up there again.
He's got like a tire around him or something.
No, that's no, that's like from RPM or something weird. Or no, that's a Common Rider.
Oh.
Is that a Common Rider?
That's got to be a Common Rider.
It looks more like a Common Rider.
It looks like Common Rider. I've actually been watching Common Rider on Pluto, and I love it.
Yeah,
Common Rider's pretty decent. I really like Common Rider W. But yeah, that's cool, man.
And this guy, I guess he's a Power Ranger.
That's Time Force.
Yeah, I figured as much. And there's a pop in here. I don't know what this character is, but I've seen this character, but I don't know what she's from.
I don't know.
I've seen her in the comic shop and stuff.
That's Jesse from Saved by the Bell.
Oh. And he threw got some amiibos in here. Got Marth from Fire Emblem. It completes my Fire Emblem collection for now, which is nice. Got some Animal Crossing ones too, still in the package.
Wow,
fancy. Nice. And these pack of Nintendo Platinum playing cards is pretty neat. They're like shiny.
Brooks is going platinum.
I'm going platinum.
Triple platinum.
And he also gave me this little Mario.
Nice.
Oh, that's cool, man.
Yeah.
I like that.
He just comes to me like, hey, I'm getting rid of some Nintendo stuff. You want? I'm like, yeah.
You ain't gonna ask me twice.
Yeah, man.
I just ordered a whole set of Mario Kart Hot Wheels.
Yeah. Are they like the carts?
You can race them
and everything.
Yeah, but they're actual cars, but they're they have crazy designs and stuff. But like the Mario one has like a big hat on the top, and it's got like a mustache at the headlights. It's weird. But whatever. Jelani, what you got for show and tell?
I've got a few things too. One, I've got to stop real quick because I got to grab something.
You've had plenty of time to do this, Jelani.
I know that, but
you knew it was coming.
Of course, and I was going to do it during Brooks's thing.
Thumbs down to Jelani.
Hold still for 2 seconds.
You got it.
2 seconds.
Well, at least we can talk shit about him while he's going.
Yeah, screw that guy.
How dare he?
How dare he not be ready? Holshoe didn't even know we were doing this, and he had something.
Nope. When I had something within reach.
Are you down in the old? Are you down in the old studio, or are you in your bedroom? Where are you at?
I'm in my dining room because that's where my work setup is. I turned into a home office while I work remote.
You threw me off with the. We never used that room.
No, I don't. That's why I set up my home office there. I'm like, this is an unused room.
I know exactly where you are now. Yeah, I know the exact window that you're at. Yeah. You're sitting at the Ouija board table that used to flip.
Yes, that's exactly that's all it was ever used for. Otherwise, it was an empty table. We did have a really good. We did play The Thing on here.
Yeah, that's a good game, and we should still play that because I haven't played it since.
I don't trust Brooks.
Do you know they got a They Live game out now?
I saw that
on Kickstarter or something.
That's cool. All right, I'm ready.
Okay, Jelani, by the way, did you back the Spawn figure yet?
Yeah, I did.
Dude, I got so much more new stuff. Did you see that?
Yes. They are losing their minds over that thing, man. Oh my gosh.
Todd McFarlane has raised $2.5 million for this damn.
That is nuts.
He's gonna spend it on a baseball.
Yep. I wish I got in. I wish I got in when it was like
This is Jose Canseco's first home run. This is never going to go down in value.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome. They've shown the articulation for the legs. I am so down.
Yeah.
The weapons are different for each figure. I don't know if oh yeah, I'm in. I'm totally in. Okay.
The articulated penis was a bit much, but okay.
Yeah, we got to get there.
With a nail in it. It's weird.
Yeah, because it's a Michael Keaton kind of podcast thing. This was why I had to pick up, because I just remembered it and I was like, crap, I have this. I'm like, this is my Batman. This is my NECA Batman, and I feel bad because the kit has broken, but it's the articulation for it and the way his face looks. Look at those pursed lips. He is freaking amazing, and it's the Batman costume, man. It's just like the cape keeps falling off, and I got to fix that, but he's amazing. He came with a gun and the DVD for the first Batman. He's amazing.
The DVD?
Yeah, that comes with the DVD, or it's a Blu-ray. It's a Blu-ray that came with this.
I thought you meant it was to scale to him so he could hold up his own DVD.
No, he's like, hey, I got my own DVD.
You're like, that's a little odd.
Yeah, but I love this figure, man. This is the first Batman, and as soon as I find a Batmobile that goes with this, I'm on it. This is the
to be like $300, right?
Yeah, it's a fortune. But there you go. And then, of course, my other ones. Now, John, you'd mentioned, or was it Brooks? I'm not sure. Y'all mentioned Wonder Woman 1984.
Yeah, that was me.
That was you, Brooks. I have Wonder Woman.
Awesome.
From the McFarlane line. Speaking of McFarlane toys, her wing keeps falling off, but this is the golden armor. McFarlane. The sword does not come with it, and the shield does not come with it. I added this stuff, but she is freaking amazing. I love the detail of her. She's got her own flight stand. She's by far one of my favorite McFarlane toys. I don't think they got her likeness, like the face of Gal Gadot, right, but she's still kind of clean. I've yet to find the other Wonder Woman figure, and hopefully the people have them one day, but I love this figure a lot. It's really clean. Yeah, and it's very detailed. I can't wait.
I was just thinking the other day of how good it would be for McFarlane now that he's doing these DC figures. Wouldn't it be cool to see a Christopher Reeve Superman and a Michael Keaton Batman and Danny DeVito?
Oh, yeah.
Could you imagine a Danny DeVito Penguin by Todd McFarlane?
Yeah, I'd pay money to see that. They made a multiverse. They made a multiverse Penguin. I have it.
Yeah, but the McFarlane one, dude.
Yeah, super detailed. The next thing I wanted to show off was my Starscream. I got that Starscream Siege figure, and I wasn't gonna transform him, but doesn't he look like the cartoon Jet version?
Yeah, me and Brooks have that too, man. It's an amazing figure.
I love this figure so much.
You missed last week. I had a Soundwave on.
Really? I got Soundwave too. Yeah, I feel you. From the Siege? Yeah. You get Laserbeak? Do you have Laserbeak and
no, just Buzzsaw.
I found those. Yeah. And then finally, this is the one I told you I was gonna show you guys because it was coming from China.
Yeah.
China.
This is something that I wanted. This is basically a holy grail figure for me. I wanted this figure for so long, and I used some of my stimulus money to get this bad boy. This is Fin Fang Boom. This is like the largest Marvel Legend ever made.
Holy shit.
I don't own any Fin Fang Boom comics. He is an Iron Man villain, Thor villain, Hulk villain. He came in a Hulk wave from Hasbro figures, Marvel Legends figures, ages ago. And it was the time when I wasn't collecting toys at all. And I was like, look at the detail. Look at oh my God. But it's so many pieces. He's got these long legs and this humongous tail.
It's not a Build-A-Figure, right? It's a legitimate figure. It is a Build-A-Figure. Oh my God.
And it costs a fortune. It's a fortune. But I couldn't afford the real version, so this is the Chinese knockoff. But it's the same sculpt. It's basically the same paint. There's not really much difference.
That's a bootleg figure?
That's a bootleg figure. It's so bootleg.
That's crazy.
Man, I'm not paying $350 for this thing.
Yeah, those Marvel Legend Build-A-Figures are really expensive because I know like y'all have some of the ones like the Galactus and the Apocalypse and the Sentinel, and
I have all of them. I have all the big Toy Biz ones. That was the largest they ever made, and that's the Hasbro version. Right when Hasbro was experimenting with Marvel Legends, they were in their experimental phase before they got better.
Yeah, they weren't very good those days, were they?
No, they weren't. But they made that monster, and I never got it, and I'm so glad I did now. Yay, nice. Stimulus money! Yay! Anyhow, I'm done. That was the one about the last.
I've got some comics that I just recently picked up. So I'll show some of those off. Been focusing on Fantastic Four and stuff again, but here's a Marvel Team Up number 6.
Nice.
Spider-Man and the Thing against the Mad Thinker.
Very nice.
Yeah. Here is the Fantastic Four 122. Love that cover. Galactus on the roller coaster. Yeah. Good stuff. And here's one. A number 70 I just picked up.
When fall the mighty.
Yeah, right. Classic Kirby issue right there. So very excited about that. I just the other day opened up on the live stream my Magna Defender.
Nice.
I think that's from Lost Galaxy.
Lost Galaxy.
It's an all right figure. It's decent. You know, you were talking about your Michael Keaton figures. I got some right here. There's just a Bruce Wayne Michael Keaton figure. Great likeness.
Yeah.
That's the one that comes with the. This is the one that comes with the quick change coupe.
Yeah.
Yep. Do you have the coupe?
I do.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, and I've got Beetlejuice. This is a Kenner figure as well. Love these figures. They had the removable heads.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the snake head from that staircase scene or whatever. But I love that figure. What else? I got one more thing. One more thing is I'm going to open up the Gold Ranger from Dino Charge, or as I know it, Koirager. I'm going to open this one up. Yeah. Well, that's the Sentai name.
Yeah.
Because I got to be pretentious like that. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, it's your figure, man. It's your world.
Yeah, I don't really watch Power Rangers anymore. I watch Super Sentai.
Nerd!
Yeah, you know it. Barry wants to know if Johnny Dangerously was good. Yes.
Yeah, it was good.
General consensus, yes. We took all of our ratings and we average them together. You get 3.75 out of 5 you digs. So Jelani knows that these Hasbro figures are just amazing.
They're freaking fantastic.
The Power Rangers, the Marvel, the Transformers.
They're using photo print technology for all the faces now, so it's even better. Yeah.
Now that I've gotten in, and I got that Starscream, and you guys know that. Remember that day I bought it? I was like, I shouldn't get this because it's going to make me want to get more. I pre-ordered the Megatron Earthrise.
Oh, wait, is he still that tank?
Yeah,
I keep asking.
It's a little bit different looking.
Okay.
So first of all, this dude's got this like badass he's a pterodactyl, right? So that's
Is it me having an issue? Who's having an issue here?
With what?
Oh, I just saw my connection cut out with you guys. I don't know what's going on there. It's okay now.
So he's got his little pterodactyl head. See?
Oh, I see it. He doesn't have wings.
What's on his arm? What was on his arm there?
Look at that.
That's pretty awesome.
Oh, is that scissors?
This is his. He uses this to like morph, and it's kind of like a thing. See, it's cool. Trust me. He does kind of have wings. He's got these.
Okay.
But whatever. These figures are pretty badass. And the thing I really like is they have all these cool lightning effects.
Yeah.
Those are always cool. What? Anyway, I'll show that off again some other time. But I had to take the opportunity to open up another one.
And another one.
But Hasbro's been just killing it, man. And they got that G.I. Joe line coming out.
God. I can't wait. I mean, it's like my wallet's weak. And I got that. I got the Star Wars Vintage Collection figures that I'm getting. That Luke Skywalker face print now. That's got to be one of the best face prints I've ever seen on Luke Skywalker's face. I'm like, they got it right. They're getting it right. Oh, that's cool.
Crackling with energy.
Lightning.
Yeah, they're good figures. I'm having fun with them. So
cool.
Heck yeah. So Johnny Dangerously was great. We've been BSing for a couple hours now, so we're about to dip out. Go eat some food, watch some TV, chill out, and go about our business tomorrow. I really do appreciate everybody joining us here. Let us know what you think of Johnny Dangerously in the comments down below. How many out of 5 you digs do you give it? Get into the PCP Army right now and vote on the current movie poll, the one we'll be reviewing next Friday night with Dylan from Dylan's Comics. Right now, Army of Darkness is winning, but you can vote for Army of Darkness, Scream, Repo the Genetic Opera, Tremors. There's a bunch of great movies on this modern horror classics poll. So go vote for that. Then we'll be doing a baseball poll and all that kind of jazz. It'll be super, super fun. So final thoughts and goodbyes. Jelani, thank you for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. I really appreciate it. In these dark times, we need stuff like this again. I say it every time. Wash your hands. And, social distancing is always the way to go.
Brooks, thank you for being here.
Oh, yeah, you're welcome.
Hammertime Holshoe, thank you for being here. It's good to see you chatting. We haven't been able to see each other in a while. And what sucks is we had just brought the podcast back from our short winter break.
Yeah, I was thinking about that while I was working on the site. And we were like, yeah, we're back. And we're like, yeah, we got all these episodes coming up. And we talked about what we're going to do. And then nothing.
Yep. Yeah. But hopefully we'll be able to get back to that very soon.
Yeah, I'm excited to get back to it.
Yeah, we got some great podcasts lined up. And the next one will be comic book villains, right? So
Yep, all villains. Talk about DC, Marvel, other comic villains, but just villains. It's gonna be I think, a cool concept. And I'm interested to hear people's top 5 favorite villains.
Yeah, and thank you for being on the show with us, Holshoe.
Thanks for having me.
And by the way, if you have never noticed Hammertime before, Hammertime is the man behind the scenes at PCP, running that website, taking care of all kinds of crazy stuff. And of course, he is the host of the podcast, which is the flagship. That's what we do, is that podcast. So check it out at popculturephilosophers.com. We're on iTunes. We're on iHeartRadio. We're on all these different things. Just find us. We got hours and hours and hours of great content about comic books, movies, television, and a whole lot more there. So I've been rocking Robbie Billups. Thanks for rocking with us. Y'all have a good one. Be safe. Be careful. And we'll see you for a Teen Dog Shades night on Sunday night. Sunday morning, weekly pop culture review. We got some exciting news to talk about. And, of course, the weekly comic book reviews are back because DC Comics are back in full swing. And I'm very, very excited. Y'all have a good one. Peace out. Thanks for rocking with us.